Welcome. I'm your host, Irene, and I'm here today with regulars AC and Nick Samudia. It looks like you guys are. What are you doing? Okay, we've got some performance art going on here. This is going to be a very interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't expecting that. And also Chimera, as usual, returns. And our special guest today, CommieMark, or the only communist that we tolerate around here, apparently, as I'll rip off Charlie's London. That's what she said. So
yeah, it's my calling card, and as the only communist, there's no one else who's doing what I'm doing.
Yes, yeah, and you're very proud of it, as we can see.
Yeah.
So, but we are here to talk about not just your proud embrace of communism, but your comic. You have an upcoming comic, KRISHNA Kid. I think I said it wrong. I said Kid Krishna. I got it mixed up. But you have a comic that is there's a sign-up page on Indiegogo right now. And before we get into any other discussions, I just want to let everyone to know the link for that sign-up page is in the description of this video. So if you want to, real quick, before we talk about anything else, just go to that page, check it out, click on it. It looks like a really cool project, and it's KRISHNA Kid. Krishna is a kid beating up gods and kings, and it looks really cool. It's got a cute kind of manga style, so I love it. Just sign up for that real quick, and you'll get notified when it goes live. And I think we are here to talk about just adaptations in general, I think. So the topic we agreed on was faithfulness and adaptation, and I think that's pretty poignant because we see a lot of bad adaptations nowadays. And I want to delve into how you have adapted this mythological story that is thousands of years old into your work, and why. How do you think is the best way to adapt something that is, especially something that is a very old story that has been beloved and is culturally significant, but also I want to hear what you have to say and what the rest of the panel has to say about what is the wrong way to adapt something, because I feel like that's relevant. So, but hey, let's say, pay attention to the chat for a minute. Sumai! Hi! Hello! Eric is here. Jeremy Burns. What about John? What about is here? Hello, hello. Don Rigo, welcome everybody.
Everybody.
Do you guys get notified of my stream? I was like, there was no one here until, well, okay, at least let me know if you guys got notified. By the way, if you aren't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button real quick and click the bell, because like some people have said that they don't get notified for my streams, or they never know when I'm going live. Well, I always stream at 8 p.m. every Wednesday, but still, it helps.
Maybe everybody knows that you're actually late.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm like on time-ish. Okay. I just set the stream for 8:10.
I have never launched a stream at the time that I was supposed to. It's always at least 15 minutes late. I think that the people expect that and demand it.
Probably.
I don't know if demanded.
Well, they enjoy making fun of you when you're late, so I have to give it to them. Yeah, I have to let them have that so they can mock me. I'm being kind here.
Hey guys, I usually don't keep track of things the same way, because I don't wait for notifications. I'm usually not waiting for a stream, but either, I just go back to watching when things are going. So that's what the bell is for? Because I see a lot of people actually talk about the bell, but I never pay attention to it, because I don't even look at my subscriptions. I just open up YouTube and just whatever's up there, I watch it.
Yeah, the bell is for notifications. So if you really like a channel, you'll want to know every time they upload something, then you click the bell. So it won't just if you subscribe, their content will show up in your subscription page. But if you click the bell literally on your YouTube notifications, it'll pop up like a little red 1 or 2, like a little message whenever they upload a video or when they go live. So there's 2 levels of liking a channel. So if you really like a channel, which you should, this is a great channel, right? You should hit the bell. So yeah. Anyhow, I think before we get into it, I realized that I haven't been showing pictures, rapper pictures for what? I haven't even said what I'm showing. You're like, no, you haven't done it, Irene.
What did we tell you about speaking in the middle of Irene's stream? You're just there to smile and look pretty.
I mean, that's not what I said, but
No. Irene, I'm on your side.
let it be noted that that is purely Nick. But no, I didn't even say what pictures I was showing. I haven't been showing pictures of backers who got their books. So let me show everyone these real quick. Yay! Yay! So here is, I've been shipping out the grayscale version of Fiendish, and any orders that have just the grayscale version or the regrowth art book. And now the Demon Sandies from Taiwan came in, like not just a sample, so I had a like a sample run. Like I just got like 3 made ahead of time to see like how the colors looked. But this is like a big box of it. It's like production is done. It's in my house, so I ordered like 300 of them. So these are also ready to go. So if you ordered, oh yeah, let me full screen it. How do I full screen me?
There you go.
Yay! So here you go. And these are the Demon Sand. You can get it as, I think, like the heat tier, but also as an add-on.
Oh,
so,
you know what? That actually is thicker than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I went with thicker
That's not
acrylic than normally. It's thick. Listen, we embrace, on the Fiendish team, we embrace thickness in all forms. So thick sandy, thick characters, thick books, thick everything. So this is what you're here for, all right? We embrace that. And Ariel is obviously curling up into a ball right now. So these are
like low-hanging fruit. It's just as tasty as the one on top.
Oh my gosh. So yes, I did go with like, this is like 3mm acrylic, so it's, I wanted to like feel real sturdy, right? Because
That's nice. And
Mhm.
you know what? I know that you probably put some good packaging, but also that gives me a bit of security, thinking like it's less likely to even break, because who knows how people are going to be treating the package along the way.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have Gemini mailers, and I try to like wrap it up and everything, but no, I don't. This is like, I don't think if somebody manages to break this in the mail, then like it's like they were doing it on purpose. And also, I will replace it if it's damaged in the mail. So just let me know. But I don't think it will, because this thing is like sturdy as shit. And as you can see, there's a little Fiendish. The base is illustrated. I forgot to show everyone, but actually you can put it either way. You can put it without the logo. Yeah, it fits either way. So that's a little
nice.
cool little feature. And also, I got, the factory is really awesome. I found this factory in Taiwan that because I got these like made on acrylic sheet, right? Like the base, this part, and then the demon on the little acrylic sheet, and then I had a little sliver of acrylic on the side, and I was like, can I put a logo there, and will you cut it out and make me a keychain? And they did, for no extra cost, and they also gave me these little chains. So everybody who orders one of these will also be getting a free keychain, like a free little Fiendish keychain.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I quite like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that the base was going to be double-sided as well. So that's cool.
Yeah, I designed it that way. I thought about things. Oh, clever. Not really, but anyways. How do I exit? Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. So anyhow, let me show everyone these pictures real quick. So people have been getting their books. Here's another one. Here's another one. And the stickers are for, yeah?
Hey, Mark, are you on a standing desk?
Sort of. I'm standing at the ironing board.
Is that
as a standing desk.
Is that normal for you, or is it because you want to be able to actually have a good angle to show off the flag behind you?
No, it's something that I wanted to try. Like since I started streaming, like to do it standing up, it feels more natural to talk like this. So I'm
All right.
giving it a go, like see if it works.
Well, I hope it's comfortable for you. I just want you to know we tend to stream for at least 2 hours, so you might want to, if you need to go get a chair, just let me know.
I have done so many jobs where they're like, you must not sit down.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
For 8 hours or whatever. Like it's.
I've been there. Yeah, I sympathize. Well,
isn't that a shackling descriptor of a job, and then you say that you're just willingly doing this to yourself now?
I'm saying that it's easy in comparison to that.
Mm.
in comparison
Okay.
to that torture.
Okay.
It's a more energetic presentation. So he's saying he
Yeah.
has training. He's experienced in standing for a long time. So cool. All right. I hope your legs don't. I hope it's okay for you.
I wish you still had your was it your Dragon Ball communist hat?
Oh, that would be so funny. That would be so perfect for this stream.
It's pretty silly.
Oh man, you need to get another one. That hat is infamous.
Yeah, but like, I was really excited when I found it because that is weird to find, especially here.
Right.
So I don't know if I'll ever find it again. It's a shame. Anyway, Irene, sorry.
We'll find another. We'll find another one. We'll find a commie hat and send it to Nick, and then
I'm happy with my DM bloody crown for now, though.
Okay, I like the bloody crown. Job of the coach. What do you mean you don't like that? What don't you like? Let me know. I'll fix it. I want you to like everything that you see. Oh, you said I'm too happy? I'm always happy though.
Oh,
I'm very. I was like, oh, I didn't see the first comment.
I'm complaining about standing.
Oh no,
okay.
Don't worry, Java. We'll fix that. We'll fix that about it.
Yeah, that's what they're here for. They balance me out. I'm happy about things, and then they're like, Irene, stop. You're stupid, and that's why they're my team.
That
So
pretty much comes up every stream, doesn't it?
yeah. That's
That's
why
how-
we're so much fun.
That's how I like to build a team as well. Like, get people who would say to me, "No, that one really is dumb." Yeah.
Well, you need people like that.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
crashed and burned out ages ago. Like,
Yeah,
without
but-
people saying,
I ideally they also understand your project and listen to actually want to help instead of just tell you everything is stupid. But I don't know. I'm here for feedback. Frankie knows Mark needs a podium to wave his. You do need to get a podium. That would be perfect if you're like set up right now. You had a podium in front of you. That would be perfect.
Yeah. instead of going ironing board, it's my budget hack podium.
Oh, you should bat Krishna Kid so CommieMark can get a podium and complete his communist setup. Come on, everybody, we can make this happen.
Blingo has a good comment.
Hey, where's Blingo?
AC doesn't have blackface anymore.
Well, you missed her. Did you see her last stream? Yeah, you were there last Pathfinder stream. She wasn't in half blackface either. She was wearing a fake beard.
Yeah, but she
That was black.
Sharpie on the back, and so while she was talking, it still stained.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The beard was
How long
black.
is this gonna last, even if she's washing it? Because it is Sharpie.
Well,
No, we're gonna get canceled for that because it's 2021.
it was. Oh my god! Just for a beard, I draw a beard on my black face.
Honey, you do not know the problems that messy eaters have brought online. and your lack of sensitivity towards the issue is and reflects terribly on everybody over here.
All those little kids who don't know how to eat with spoons yet. Just
Oh,
They're destroying the world.
the juice pop stains.
god
my
damn
gosh.
it, the magic missile. Damn it.
We don't have magic missile, and we're not going to for a while.
That's also a terrible argument for level 1 characters, you guys. That would be one hit, and that would be like half your loadout of spells for a wizard. That's a terrible idea.
But
Also,
yeah,
we
so
don't have a wizard, so.
I used it was first I used water-based marker on the back of my mask, and I was like, why did I use water-based? This was stupid, and that's why I used Sharpie on top of it. And I think that the mixture might have been something that helped it come off a bit easier.
Maybe.
I'm not sure, but it came off almost all pretty quickly. It was
Somebody buy AC a tube of acrylics.
what?
I don't know. Like the thing is, like
Why?
she said that it was very
You don't have to use
uncomfortable. But like
Sharpies
it
and
was on
stuff.
before she did all that, like the beard was no longer itchy because she made a coat of dry paste on it.
Okay, anyway, so if you guys want to see this fiasco, go watch our last Pathfinder stream, which is literally my last video on my channel that we streamed on Sunday. It was hilarious, and at the end, AC looks like she has blackface on. So yeah,
Oh
don't
my gosh.
don't let it hold you back. You could become the leader of a country with blackface nowadays.
When the people in the chat started saying that she had half blackface, I naturally assumed that it was the other way. Like
no, it's
on one
disclaimer.
side.
It's a joke. It was a beard that rubbed off. It was a fake beard. Twitter, crazy people on Twitter. Oh my god! All right, people won't even know what we're talking about. So it was a good stream. We killed a lot. Well, we didn't kill a lot of things. But
We killed nothing.
we killed nothing. So, anyways,
We killed
more. We almost killed each other. That's what we did.
Next time we will.
Next time we will. Yeah. So anyhow, let me just go through these pictures real quick. This one is really nice. I'm so happy to see this. I forgot who sent this, but this is very generous. Look at that. They put Fiendish and the trading cards next to Malin's graveyard shift stuff. And it's I don't know, it feels like I'm under a little pressure being sandwiched between his work, but I mean, I'll take it. They seem to like the book, so that's cool. So yeah.
I love it. I
Cool
do. You know, when
picture.
you see the pictures of you booking other people's houses, like
I love it. I mean, yeah, it's nice to see just that people got the book in one piece, right? I love it when people, if you get your book and you have, post it on Twitter and tag me. I'll show it on stream because I love seeing people actually get their books. But yeah, I need to be showing these every stream. I just have been forgetting. Here's another one. So yeah,
I'm really surprised that more people didn't include themselves on the picture. I'm used to always seeing that when I see these kinds of shots for Kickstarters and whatnot.
I don't know. I think some people, but also a lot of people want to be anonymous. So
I think
yeah.
it's also usually a t-shirt thing.
No.
No? Really?
it's quite uncommon, like from what I've seen, for people to, be in the picture with the book. Like you could do this with Chimera's Testament book right here, which is nice as well. And like here it is.
Like what?
Look.
Posing around.
Yeah, that would be nice. I wouldn't mind if people took pictures of of themselves, but it just seems like people don't really do that. I don't know.
It'd be cool to actually recognize someone like that when going to a convention or something.
Yeah. That's true. Well, sometimes I talk to people on Twitter and stuff or in the YouTube comments, and then they have a project, and then they ask to come on my show, and then I see them for the first time, don't realize that they're this person I've been talking to on Twitter because I don't know what anybody looks like. It's a little, it's a little crazy, but yeah, I don't mind that. So anyhow, that's enough of a preamble. Fiendish, I'm fulfilling the grayscale books. The colors are still being progressed, and let's get to our topic of discussion today, which is how to, I guess the title I put was faithfully adapt a piece of mythology, but it can be just how do you do an adaptation right? So Mark, why don't you tell us how you came about to doing this project, because this is it's about Krishna and it's an old Indian story. Why are you interested in doing this, and how did you go about adapting it?
So when I was a teenager, and I thought I was a super genius, I thought I was the smartest man on earth. I hadn't been pummeled by the reality of existence yet. I thought, oh, this religion thing, I'm just gonna solve it for the world. I legitimately thought that I could do that. That I'd be able to find something that no one had found before in thousands of years or whatever. And I just read all every holy book that I could find in it. And this was my favorite, the Bhagavad Purana, which is one of the Hindu books. It's not even the main one. So yeah, and I've always wanted a cool comic book version of it to read, just the way that I pictured it in my head when I was a teenager reading it. It looked like this, and it's like Dragon Ball, and I was they do magic powers in the book, and I'm just seeing them as throwing energy beams at each other and stuff, and it felt like a real easy thing to do. I couldn't believe nobody's done it. I've looked for this book for so long to read it, and it just doesn't exist. So I'm gonna make it. I did a show with, Narwhal, and it have you done a Narwhal before? Yeah, so cool.
Do we know what?
Narwhal, he's another comics YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Narwhal is like me, and is a bit. It's got a weird edge angle or whatever in it. Anyway, so we're doing this stream where we're writing a story between us with an AI, in fact, it's for
An AI?
Yeah, it's not a real AI. It's for playing an RPG sort of game where you type in, and then I walk up to the wizard and I say this, and then it'll spit out what happens next, and you react to that, and it'll generate an adventure for you. So we wrote out this adventure, and it was about these rival gods, and one of them's flooding the earth, and the other one's trying to stop it, your classic rival god story, flood myth, and it was writing a flood myth.
Oh yeah. So I still want to punch myself for not reading the ancient Indian texts, but I really want to, because from everything I've heard about it, I'm really into ancient civilizations and stuff, and it's half of my reason for wanting to read it is because of stuff that from Graham Hancock, but that's a whole other story. But I've heard they read Dragon Ball Z crossed with science fiction. It's flying vehicles and superpowered beings and these ape men that are it's armies of ape men, and there's this whole thing about a bridge that was between Sri Lanka and the Indian mainland and all this. It's really, really fascinating, and it's, I don't know, it reads it's Greek or Norse mythology, but it's even wilder stuff, because some of the stuff really seems almost like science fiction, and it's Dragon Ball Z or whatever, and it's really, really expansive. So You're right. I'm not sure why people haven't adapted this stuff into comic form more, or animation, because it seems to fit so well.
It has been adapted into comics. The thing is just that the way that Mark is describing as actually as an action series, I think is what's new, because I've seen comics about Krishna, but the thing is just that they're very similar to the ones that I would get when going to the local temple over in Atlanta, which is just so faithful to the mythology that it's just a retelling. There's no real reflavoring, and they even, instead of actually doing dialogue or interpersonal interaction, it's so much huge narration boxes. It's just with more modern pictures.
Yeah.
Do you have those books?
I have the ones from the temple. So I think I could bring those out. Yeah, because that could create a really good contrast. Because it's not only are they very outdated in the way that they narrate things, but they actually are very old comics.
They look old school.
Yeah, we often mentioned is Marvel style era art. Where you can still see the print of the ink and the colors kind of having issues aligning.
Yeah.
Oh, so old when offset printing was shit and stuff.
70s, 80s.
Yeah. So I'll go get that. Be right back, guys.
Right. But it seems like it would fit. It fits the way you're adapting it very well. It seems like you're going for. I don't know how closely you are sticking to the story, but the style you're going for, it seems like it fits really well, because it's action and a little bit anime, and it's well, that's perfect, because it telegraphs to the readers the type of story it is, and it fits because it's superpower beings punching each other and shooting rays and stuff.
It's great.
Go ahead.
Yes. Who's talking? Oh my gosh!
Are there aliens in this?
They're all
Are
aliens.
there aliens in this? Not in this issue. No.
Okay, so the future. Gotcha.
Do you have more pictures of this you want to show? Because there aren't that many on the sign up page, and I've seen the other art you have for it, and it looks really good.
This is the second sign-up page, Annie, which I didn't put as much effort into. Oh, I have 175 people signed up so far. Like, so people should go and sign up for that. I'll find you some more art to look at. Okay.
No, not outdated. That was we're talking about other adaptations of Indian mythology. It's kind of like apparently we're saying that it seems to be dry retellings and without like any stylistic flair or anything, and kind of just old, outdated printing. So we're saying that this is the opposite of that.
Oh yeah, can you full screen us? Nick found it.
Oh, okay. Is it Aladdin in outer space? If that is what will interest you, then yes, it's Aladdin in outer space. Let's see.
Is that too bright?
Oh yeah.
That is so funny. That looks like the kind of comics, like Buddhist comics, I grew up reading, as my mom would hand those to me.
Oh really? They had books like this?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, so
these are
like
really
it's all exposition. Huge text rolls. And look at this guy talking over here. Like, it's the concern is not really trying to create pacing or scenes. It's just about translating what's already in text, and almost literally.
Yeah.
And as well, like really condensing it down. Like that one that you've got there. Like how many pages is that? That's quite.
The idea behind it though is that when you go
right?
the thing is just that when you go to the temples, like they have like a whole bookcase of a ton of these. So they have a lot of these ones. You have to get like individual stories,
Yeah. Because if I may steal the full screen for a moment, like.
Yep, that looks a lot. Like I gotta dig up the comics, like the Buddhist comics that my mom showed me.
I have these as well. But mine's a really floppy boy. Like, so this one here, Krishna, by the Amar Chitra Foundation or whatever. Like, this is the best-selling book in Indian comic history. This is, and it has sold over 100 million copies worldwide, and like this, and like you say, it's got this really like golden agey kind of art style to it, and and this book that I'm doing, so this book here is 31 pages, which is a weird number for a book anyway, like 31, and it tells about 24 chapters of the Bhagavad Purana in these 31
pages?
Yeah. So they put a lot of like the start in, the origin story, like that's great. And then a lot of the end, like when he fights King Kamsa or whatever. But the middle, they completely skip over. And you see these 2 pages here, page 16 and 17, this is the middle, like, and they just cut out loads on it. The book that I'm making, that's 60 pages, is made out of the stuff that happens in those 2 pages on it. Like, it's just like so much, and it's so deep.
Right.
Like, to just mine for content.
Well, that's kind of like American Comics has this thing where they would just condense everything to hell, and honestly, it annoys me when it can be too much. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Woo!
So we have
7 pages. Awesome.
Who's the guy in the pale with the green bandana? Is that an Indian god or just some other character?
So this is Balrama, and Balrama is Krishna's older brother, but Krishna is the avatar of the supreme being on earth, and it is like the top supreme god or whatever in the body of a 8-year-old boy, and Balrama is his human older brother. Like so I describe him as being like Jeff Christ. Like imagine like the torture that you put yourself through, like having God like as your little brother, not only just your brother, your little brother in it, who already comes and steals your attention or whatever, and now he's absolutely perfect in every way, and everyone in the town loves him. Like, how are you supposed to live up to that?
Oh, it must be depressing.
Balrama,
Why is he gray? Because I get why Krishna's blue, but why is Balrama gray?
he just is. In the source material, he's more stone white than this. He looks more like you, actually, Irene, like in complexion, to be honest.
Kind of gross.
I'll show you a real picture, because a lot of the design, like with the designs, we based them on the proper art in it, like.
Who's the chat brings up a good point. Who is bitch tits next to the gray kid?
The fat one. Hang on, let me show you Balrama.
How can you be fat in India? Aren't they all starving?
Not them.
He didn't answer my question. Great.
Oliver, hey! Well, I don't have siblings, so I wouldn't know. I'd have to imagine. All alone. Oh, you're showing. Let's see.
Yeah. So this is what it's like normally, and it it's got this like really pale white skin, like.
But he's got a halo too.
Yeah, because he is still the brother of God or whatever. It's a thing. I don't want to spoil like everything what happens, but there are lots of people of different colors or whatever.
Yeah.
But not
like even in the book that I was showing, the asuras are depicted in like 3 different colors depending on the page, from like purple, brown, or dark blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So this fat dude, his name is Stoker Krishna, and that actually means Fat Krishna, and he is literally just the fat kid on the team.
The trope of the fat kid on the team, it goes back thousands of years.
Right. So bitch tits.
Yes.
Yeah, Krishna, bitch tits, Krishna. Yeah.
One of the things that I realized when writing this is, so I'm not like, I haven't watched like lots of animes or read lots of mangas. Like, I've seen some stuff that you'd go, you'd like poser or whatever. Like if I said these are the ones, but like a lot of my influences come from other like Japanese things in this. So one of the things that I discovered there's a lot of baked in here is Power Rangers, because like the main cast are all like color coded. These two, Stoker Krishna and Sudama, they are Bulk and Skull. Like, and I didn't realize till I was like 35 pages into writing, like that I've been playing them as Bulk and Skull. So Krishna, when he does this is what I call this universe eyes in the script. This is like when he's omnipotent and it like he's dipping into upstairs like to have a look around.
I guess that's one way to describe it.
It's some more of the cast. This is the girl in it, Radha. She's yellow because people are different colors. Like that's just the thing. But,
right. I think I've seen in Indian art, it's like all the gods or even mythological figures are all colors of the rainbow. It's very interesting.
Are you doing all the gods? Is there gonna be Ganesha?
Ooh, I like this page.
What did you say, Chimera?
Are you gonna do all the Indian gods?
I'm gonna. So there's enough in this Krishna stuff. Like, so first of all, I'm adapting it real faithfully. Everything that happens, like I can point to something in some Hindu scripture and say, look, there's that. Some of the things I've taken, a couple of stories and smushed them together to be happening concurrently. Like, so different characters' arcs are unfolding with real stories from there, like, you understand what I'm saying in it. Like I've had to smush a couple of things together, like to
Right.
You gotta streamline it
story
because
reasons.
it's not always seen as the same kind of narrative.
Mhm.
So to be able to actually tell a story, sometimes like some of these things are either redundant or they can just be smooshed together for ease
Yeah.
of reading.
Yeah, mythology tends to be all over the place, so you're trying to like make it one single story. You can tell.
Like, there's nothing in there that you could point to and say, like, you completely made that up. But there are, like, you could point and say, oh, actually, that thing didn't happen until after this thing that you've made happen, like, in a different order. Like, and it all checks out. It's good. It's all for story reasons in it to make it better, to get nice.
Just a quick question. The Indian guy kind of looks like an Indian version of Dr. Giro with the mustache and the earring. Is that on purpose or?
This one.
Yeah.
Which one's Dr. Giro?
Yeah, the mustache and the earring just remind me of Dr.
No,
Giro.
who's Dr. Giro? I forget.
Dragon Ball Z.
From the Red Ribbon Army.
Right, okay.
No, that wasn't intentional, but sure, I can see it now that you've said it. In fact,
he's missing the hat.
It's projected.
This character, again, I didn't realize this till going back over it. This looks like Scorpina from Power Rangers. Like, I don't know if you remember Scorpina from Power Rangers.
It just seems because they're using gold, but I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't seem derivative because it doesn't have like animal designs for the segmentation of the armor.
Yeah,
no, sure. And so here's an example of what I'm. So in this, he's got this metal arm in it. He doesn't have that in the Bhagavad Purana. Like, I've had to give him something to make him more threatening than just being a regular human king. Because this book, the Eye of Brahma Saga, is the first of 4 in it. And the 4th one ends with Kid Krishna fighting King Kamsa in it. Like, it's prophesized he's going to kill the king. Like, so that's going to be the big climax of Krishna's childhood adventures or whatever. In the book, you're going to see him fight like snake demons and tornado demons, like, and all of this epic stuff. And then he fights the king at the end, like, and it's almost like a bit of a letdown.
Right.
So
power levels.
I've given him this arm to make him look scarier, and throughout the book, like, you see him like drinking wine and eating and stuff, but in my head canon, he's eating the demons in it that like Krishna has killed, like juicing on demon power. But it's never like said like in the book, like, because it doesn't happen in here. Like, that happened in your mind? Like, I just put that in.
Sure, but like, you say that you say that it's not obviously not said on the original literature, but aside from it being your headcanon, do you actually use that on your version of the story?
It doesn't say that anywhere. Like,
Sure.
It could be like hinted at, like, oh, a little bit of like the meat or like some kind of pattern or something in the meat he's eating looks like a demon that was just killed if you look really closely, but you don't have to have any characters say it out loud.
Yeah,
I think that would be cool.
I don't know. Like, either way would be cool. It sounds like a cool visual.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things with adapting these Hindu texts is that sometimes Hindus get really, really angry about it. Like, when people start making their own stories, like with the characters, like they think it's offensive or whatever. There's a game called Smite that like gets in trouble with them.
Yeah,
because the characters were very sexualized, right?
Yeah, that's another thing.
Really upset over that.
Is that that's a Hindu?
No, it's a game where you play with a bunch of gods and
it's like all the pantheons, like, you know.
Yeah, it's like a champions thing.
Yeah, so and again, like they're very sexualized or just like very caricaturized, and a lot of those were offensive to people, so they kind of changed them up or just like cover them up in one.
Right, and I think it's safe to say that you're not Hindu, right?
No. I've been an atheist since I was 5 years old.
Okay.
So how do you go about adapting something that's from someone else's like mythology in a way that like you can't please everyone. I just want to say like some people are going to be mad no matter what you do, no matter how respectful you are, and there has to be a line where it's like, okay, this is unreasonable, but we can always make an effort to be like, of course we want to try to respect people's cultures. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah,
'cause
what's your approach?
Yeah, 'cause especially with how you were talking about it just now. You know, you started out talking about how much you really wanted to showcase this as this kind of like action thing, and like thinking about DBZ and shooting lightnings and all this stuff. But then as we go on onto this thing, you talk about your edits for the character, but then this personal interpretation and an original idea of how to interpret this, and you even talk about how you try and downplay it and almost hide it by not even mentioning it. So it's like, how is this kind of like the way that you have to deal with reinterpreting it, just kind of hiding things that are different?
I don't think so. That's this arm's quite an extreme example. Like so for example, another example is like when he fights this bull demon character. Like so this is like an actual story or whatever. He fights a bull demon, and it just already like feels Dragon Ballish, and it like I haven't had to add like anything to that. It was just that the king had to be scarier. But the question like of how am I adapting it? So what I've done is I've taken like the original beats from the Bhagavad Purana, like and like most holy books, like they told us like a series of events. This happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then God loves you. What a lovely moral of this story and this chapter. Like here's the next one. Like that's how it goes. And they have all this epic fighting and stuff in the original text. But what I like the most about this project is like the character stuff that isn't like in the original material. Like it never stops to tell you like how Balrama feels about being the brother of God in it. Like so I'm getting to explore that and tell those stories, like interwoven in between all the cool action and that. Like you'll find when you read this, you'll be like, the fighting and stuff's cool, but like I really love the characters, especially I can tell you that people are really gonna like Balrama a lot, like because he's the most interesting, certainly in this book.
So Mark, so on this, because you talk about how just now you were mentioning how you like being able to actually flesh out these bits that are kind of what do you call it, like skimmed over? What is the word for this? I don't know, just summarized in between, or just kind of like the more personal interactions or inner thoughts of the characters. And you say that you like to, the idea is to, it's cool to flesh this out because it was not, you know, they're just either implied or they're just not in the original texts. Where do you draw the line there on what content you are actually comfortable with showcasing and expositing on your edits and reinterpretation of the literature, and because you're afraid of this being too drastic of a change for certain audience members?
I'm just making sure that everything that I say or do in that I can point to something and say, look, this sort of backs up what I'm saying. Like I'm sure there's going to be example. And where is the line is a question that I've dealt with for my entire like comic book making career. Like I generally I find the line by stepping over the line, and then I come back and be like, well, I found the line.
Well, yeah, but also everybody's different too. That line shifts, so it's just about like, how do I piss off the least amount of people that I'm.
Yeah, and again, like don't take. I'm trying to be blunt just because I see that, you know, you're talking about your book, so we kind of go on for a long time, and I just wanted to be direct before we missed this question. I'm not saying as like a hard rule for something, but simply since you are actually working on this project, that's why I asked, like, what has been the what is kind of like the minutia of how you've managed to actually like, or how you've handled it in this book to deal with that line, and how you're trying to kind of deal with it in the book.
So what I've done, like, so from the original material, like, I've picked out moments that feel like that they tell like a larger arc for each individual character in there. And then I found a way to put that into the big story. I don't know how to answer your question. Like,
I guess it's Mark. Because I guess I really latched onto this thing because I thought it was really cool when you're talking about this guy just actually like eating up the corpses of the demons to, level himself up for the final battle.
I like that idea too.
In that scenario, what is it? What out of that particular stipulation that you have added to the story that was not there before, according to you, what out of that is it that you felt compelled to try and push over to the background for fear of retaliation, as opposed to your reinterpretation of the thoughts of the characters? Like, what is there something specific? Is it something cultural that you feel like, oh, like, I don't know, cannibalism out of this character might be wrong? Is there something about that kind of pushes you like this? I know I want to push to the back, and I'm not even going to mention it. It's just going to be like scenes, maybe.
Right, like you have a whole head canon. Why don't you put your entire head canon?
Yeah. So it's like on that one, on that scenario, like, what is your decision process on that as to why that one was like, okay, that's the safest thing is to just kind of push it a bit back a bit.
I could see how it's different though. So of course, Mark, I'm going to let you answer, but I can see how with what the king is doing, that's a physical thing, and that's like, okay, maybe the texts are just, they describe the physical actions that people take, and if the physical action isn't there, you don't want to show it. But if it's just the character's thoughts and you're injecting what the character is thinking as the story progresses, that is something that I would feel more comfortable with adding, that because that's character exploration and makes a story more fleshed out, but that doesn't break what the original text said. But anyways, is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, like, it's just I want to be able to point everything back to the book and say, hey, that extra bit, I didn't say that, you said that. Like,
It's my headcanon, but you said it.
Your headcanon too. Like, I just laid you the traps to think that. And the biggest reason, in all honesty, is just space. Like, I've got to fit it all into a book. Already, this one, the Eye of Brahma saga, is already blown over 60 pages. It's probably going to get closer to 72. Like, that's just a quarter, like, of the 12-book arc. This Eye of Brahma saga is 3 like chapters, and issue 1, 2, and 3 like compiled together into a nice collector's edition or whatever. It's just a space thing. I've got to write 12 of them from when he was born to when he fights the king, and then he grows up and carries on and lives to 125. Like, I'd love to explore every minute detail, but even I have to compress things. Not as much as this, that tells all 12 issues of KRISHNA KID in 31 pages.
31. God, that's so ridiculous. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's way too compressed. That's just like cliff notes, and let's put pictures to it so maybe kids will be interested. It feels like something that doesn't actually know how to make comics and doesn't know how to communicate with like people who read comics or kids, being like, this is what kids would read, right?
I mean, just think about, but I mean, think about it the same way. Like when you look at any book that is trying to adapt like religious text, even when you look at like Christian comics, they also have this issue. I don't know if it's the lack of communication with comics, because probably if someone is making a comic, they've read comics, they understand at least some of the visual language that comes with it. But I think it's like this the way that these stories come out so stilted in the books is because of this reverence for the context, that you're afraid of kind of like how Mark says, like, I didn't say it, you said it. I had it.
Okay, here's another
Right.
like
Is
angle
maybe
that I
a
can.
hesitance to seem disrespectful by trying to abstract the text as it is, said and intended. And so maybe that's why it comes out so dry in some of these other comics. And that's why I think that's a really cool idea from Mark to actually just loosen up on that. But it's like, as we've been kind of talking, like that is a dangerous path. Like, you don't know how loose you can really go.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about these dangers about backlash, like I keep thinking, I don't know if you guys have heard about this one, but like there was an issue in the adaptation of a particular chapter of JoJo. It's like when they go over to fight Dio, Dio is being like evil and like planning something, and I think he like one of his minions tells him something while he's looking evil and doing a muscle man pose.
Mark, that was very on brand.
And he reads and he reads a book of spells and evil things, and it's just like a throwaway panel, just something. And people threw a huge fit because the translators, they knew that they had to have some text in there, and it had to be kind of appropriate to the setting where Dio was. So they just got some random text, but those in Arabic, and those were actually lines from the Quran.
Oh no!
Oh,
no!
Yeah, so it's that kind of stuff. Like, but it's like it shows that like the amount of attention. Because I sometimes tell AC when we're like going on books that she's really afraid of this stuff. Like, Han, like nobody's going to just look into like the position of this cup and see if that's offensive or not.
They
like,
will.
they looked
they
into
will.
Dio's book, into this like throwaway panel where there's one book on the corner that you read the kind of bit crushed text, and that was from the Quran, and like it made a huge issue for that chapter, and that's actually why that particular volume of JoJo is almost impossible to get.
Huh. Well, that's wild.
In
I gotta rewatch that.
In The Adventures of Kim Il Sung and Best Korea, which is my so all of my books have like fake adverts and stuff in between, and it like as part of the meta of each book. Like you'll understand if you read them. And in Best Korea, like we've got these fake news articles.
Irene, can you full screen up?
Oh, right.
It's
What am I the host? What am I doing?
It's already hard enough with how dark Mark's lighting is.
Yeah. Rico, before I want to address this guy, I feel like a disclaimer goes a long way. I'm fascinated by this mythology, so my story is based on it, but it doesn't represent the real thing. Well, I wouldn't say in no way represents the real thing, because you are trying to be faithful and respectful, but there's a disclaimer saying that it isn't the real thing. You should go read the original text. And I tried to do a respectful adaptation, but you should still read the original text. I think that would help.
I've thought about selling or even giving away the chapters that it's based on, like in an ashcan, and it may be in the making of book or something, so people can contrast and compare. So in this book, these articles, it's all written in Korean. These are just Korean fairy stories that are translated into Korean, like on Google Translate, to just fill the space in it. So I know that there is at least one Korean person who owns this book, and maybe the only person who's like been able to read that successfully.
That's pretty great.
Yes. So on your question of like why am I holding back on adding so many cool things? The main reason is I don't really need to. Like, there's so much cool stuff in there already. Like that. I don't need to even add anything. Like, it's just great. The only thing was just to make the king more threatening, and
I really wish I had read this so I could comment more on it. But my impression is it's not the same as the Bible or the Quran. It's not so much a religious text that it's almost like a wild story, a wild cultural poem.
I
Yeah.
don't feel like we have any Hindus around to actually verify that.
I know. Again, I don't know shit. This is just like I've heard people talk about it. So don't listen to me. I'm an ignorant foreigner.
Well, on that, when we were talking about this, Mark, like I understand that there's clearly a lot of content that you're talking about, you know, and not there's enough of a challenge to just be able to create a cohesive and flowing story out of the material without overly simplifying or compressing it. But the way that you have described it is that you yourself wanted to add stakes and an explanation for something that was missing there. And so your hesitation to actually showcase it is what makes me wonder if there was something about that makes you, again, hesitate. Maybe this is not the best example, since that's kind of like what we've gone over in your book. I guess the question might be, are there scenarios in the book, because since we're talking about adaptation and all this, or topics or ideas that you've had along there that you've either, you know, consciously pulled back or thought better of it on how to play them?
There is a moment back on this page where I had to stop myself from having Balrama drop a F-bomb, like, because I thought, like, he's a deity and a child, like a 12-year-old or something. Like, is he really going to be effing and jeffing with his friends in the woods? Probably, if we're honest, like, that would be in his character.
But is that so much an adaptation thing as just to like, who's my audience here? And how am I trying to market this book?
But it's not even that. Like that is something to be careful about. Like you have to be careful not just about the faithfulness of a story, because people might have an issue with, but actually some of these elements with translation. What was it? I'm sure that folks in the chat probably have heard about it, but there's Clone High went through similar issues when like the way that they depicted Gandhi was like this party animal character, and the idea is that they didn't actually just like randomly choose that, but apparently he actually had a history of being a bit of a wild kid during his college years, and so they wanted
a racist.
For that.
Yes.
But the immediate response was like, "Oh, you are bastardizing Gandhi," and trying to insult him through this depiction of being the butt of jokes. This loser guy that is just obsessed with being I need to lose my virginity at the end of the college year. And so like I love that. I freaking love Clone High, and a lot of people loved it. Had good ratings. Got immediately canceled because I think there was actually a what do you call that? A group of people just gathered outside of the protesters gathered on the outside of Time Warner around the time where the president of the studio was actually around, and so they were kind of like they were jailed in there because they could not go out, and they decided
so they harassed them into canceling a show.
Right.
Yeah, but I was like, it's like stuff like that can be problematic because like you have to be careful, not just for assuming that your intention in translating is like, oh, this is youth. This is not meant to display badly on their morals, but this is kind of how we understand impetuousness on the West.
Yeah.
So that can be hard because it will be understood like, oh, you're trying to make them dumb and stupid and lower them down because you want to be disrespectful of the culture or something like that.
I also think that's a really interesting point because you mentioned Gandhi, and then Mark was mentioning how Hindus are more sensitive to their text being changed. I think being aware of like the specific culture that you're adapting from, like their views, is important because it varies a lot. Because I grew up like in Japanese media, nobody really gives a shit if you adapt things and change it. They have a manga that's like Jesus and Buddha are roommates, and like in China, like Chinese media doesn't give a shit either. There's they adapt their own mythological features and or figures, and it's like oh, what if Guanyin was like in the modern day, and what if they're in a video game, and what if Sun Wukong was like in the modern day, or if they were in this dynasty? What if Shenzang was a woman? The Shenzang is the monk in the Journey to the West story, and
Well,
it
I
has
think
the story is
much
that
more
he's
relaxed
depicted
about
as a
that.
woman. Yeah, some cultures are more relaxed about it. Everybody fucks with Norse mythology, and nobody gives a shit. But then in certain other
Yeah, but,
cultures,
like,
people are very sensitive.
Nobody believes,
Right.
you know, it's like the
No,
rare.
people do believe in it. No, people
Well,
do.
Yeah. Like I
That's
need
real
to correct
religion.
it's not that common though to really find like fervent believers of Thor for them to actually create a mob and come at you.
I mean, I'm sure Hindus outnumber them, but I think it's just the cultural. Because I'm into this stuff, I listen to Asatru people and people who follow. It's not because it's not just Asatru. It's people who really believe in Norse mythology, and they like their view is, well, it's an adaptation that doesn't change the original thing. So there are people who do like fervently believe this is their religion and this is their truth. So it's a cultural difference, and you have to be aware of
Could
that
just be that
cross-culturally.
I had to correct myself because I even had an ex-girlfriend that actually believes in North mythology.
Yeah. This is just like people don't give that much of a shit in that culture.
It could just be they're super sensitive. Like if you did a show about Jesus and Muhammad being roommates, that animation studio would be burned down.
Right.
They don't give a fuck.
No idea why.
That's overgeneralizing it. I think it's more of a cultural thing because if you find people who believe in Norse mythology, they've already had like their entire lives has just been like people treating Norse mythology as myth, and so they're probably used to it and they've probably adapted to it. Whereas like I think that probably larger religions.
There's certain beliefs where even the like how Chimera is bringing up like Muhammad's like. There's some religions where it's outright disrespectful to even create a visual depiction of deity.
Any image.
That's right. You know, because you're disrespecting them by making a material version.
Right. That's something I want to bring up because there are different approaches that you can take. You were kind of talking about what I was doing before because I'm also doing an adaptation of like King Arthur stuff, and so I'm doing like Catholicism and all that. I'm not Catholic, but I'm trying to like learn the ropes and I'm trying to be as respectful as possible and all that because ultimately that's the setting I'm dealing with and that's the tactic I want to take. However, there's also another approach that you can take that I think is completely valid. It just depends on who your audience is really. Is like, I think the best example I can think of is South Park. They're just like, they
right.
So it's like, everything is up for grabs and it doesn't matter. It's like, so...
That's also goes with what Chimera was saying because that's actually one of the few episodes that actually got pulled from South Park. The one with that depicted Muhammad. You can no longer find that one unedited.
Really?
Yeah.
Season 5, he appeared as the Super Friends,
super best friends or something.
Yeah, whatever. I actually have the DVD, so I can actually watch
episode 300 in it, I believe, or 200.
There are a bunch of threats of that creating terrorism as a backlash, and so they actually were told to actually pull that out.
That's a little stupid.
What you're talking about with, particularly those South Park guys, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, I love those guys in the, they'll really like push the line, and that's what I usually do. That's what my other books are like. Like I tried to start a fight with North Korea. And they didn't bite. I tried to start a fight with dynamite. Look, I have the last Vampirella Comicsgate cover. I just made one. What are you gonna do? Oh look, this is not Daredevil.
Not Daredevil.
It's Vampirella.
Hot.
Looking all sexy there.
I think someone in the chat earlier asked if you can still get Not Daredevil.
You can. It's in demand right now, and I have them. As you can see, they're here. Look at this. There's a cool quote on the back. It says, "CommieMark is the Andy Kaufman of Comicsgate."
Heart deeper. Oh my gosh.
I made a video about that. Go and watch that as well. Basically what I'm saying is I've tried to start fights for ages, and no one ever bites. So hopefully
do something about China.
Didn't some Indian guy attack
I'll be your research vector. I bet somebody will get pissed off.
Mark, didn't some Indian guy attack you a while back over Krishna?
Oh yeah, so one Indian guy saw, that image that's in the promo cover for issue 1.
That looks
he
so
saw this-
cool, man.
That looks so funny.
It looks cool though. It's like little Krishna.
It's like a chicken.
It's like a little cherub.
I love
There's
it.
like so much to say about this particular image that I'll come back to. I'll just tell this story CommieMark is on about. That this guy saw this image and it was in a thread, you know, it tagged loads of people in it, like loads of people, big names and that, like lots of people see. And he comes in and he's like, this is disrespectful. They never fight each other. And then he does like a tweet chain of maybe 4 tweets, like explaining what really happens, like in says it's disrespectful, they don't fight each other. I was like, bro, this is based on like the Krishna and the boys gone on a picnic story, you know. I gave him the number of whatever chapter it was, I can't remember off the top of my head. And then he was like, no, this is what happens, and then he lists all the stuff. And then I DM'd him, I was like, bro, I know that's what happens. That's what happens in the book, that you've just like told everyone like the whole story in it. Like I'm doing like this proper faithful adaptation. I show him some pages and stuff. And then he was like, oh, okay, actually, this is great. And then he like thanked me for making the book, and he said down my legend, and then he went and deleted like all of those spoiler tweets on it. Like
Well, that's nice. Did you just forget that they fought each other?
no,
Or is it
it's
like a symbolic thing?
No, apparently, is that they didn't really fight each other, but this means something else.
Oh,
What-
okay.
what- I'm describing it as a showdown, like rather than a fight between these two. But okay, so under Chibi Krishna, I fought so hard for this. Yeah, this was like the most important thing to me. Like I kept saying to the artist, if we just get the hair right, the rest of the book will write itself. Like you just have to nail the hair in it, and it will set the tone for like the rest of the book. Like and I think we eventually achieved that. He did say, look, if you don't like this last version I'm going to send you, I'm just going to give you the money back. Like this is too hard. Like, I can't
Oh my
do, like,
gosh.
what you
How
want.
many years did you go through?
At least probably 6, maybe 8, something like that.
Oh,
And he wanted to do like this kind of like floaty, like thin hair. Like his version looked like Mowgli from the Jungle Book.
Okay.
It's like no. Has to be this cute little chibi Krishna, like for it to work. And then so all of the children in the book look like this, and like they're cartoonish, like and then all of the grown-ups, particularly the bad guys and the gods, are done in this more realistic style in it. Like so you get the contrast between like the innocent characters and the grown-up characters, the ones smashed by reality. And he was like, it looks weird together. Like, give me an example, like, of when like this. And I sent him a picture of Link and Ganondorf, like, next to each other. And then he was like, okay, fine. And then this picture.
Like
This picture-
like Wind Waker style or something.
I think I just sent him one from Smash Brothers, but, you know, like a Kid Link.
Yeah. Okay,
the
yeah.
versus
Because I was gonna say,
screen,
like,
in
thinking
fact.
of the chibi one, I always think Wind Waker, the super balloon-headed one.
that one's cute.
Like, again, like I was saying earlier, like it's got loads of Japanese like influence in just from other like things. I mean, like I've still managed to absorb it. Sonic as well. Sonic's in there as well. You'll see that. What was I saying? This picture, when he finished this, he was like, "I'm in love with this character now." And up until this picture, like every decision, like we fought over in it. Like when I was like, it has to be like this, because when I'd written that flood myth with Narwhal and the AI, I was making a mood board for like a story, because I'm not an artist, and I find it really difficult to explain like the picture in my head to you, like for you to draw it. So I was making this mood board, and there's a part in the story that me, Narwhal, and the AI wrote where they're in this underwater temple, like, and I was just looking for pictures of underwater temples. I thought I need a walrus god, like that's what I want, and I searched on Google for this Hindu god Indra, the god of the rain, and he's riding an elephant, and I dragged it into the document that I was making. I let go, and I thought, why don't I just make that Krishna book that nobody's made? And then I came in here to this room and I wrote out the 120 beats of the first 4 books in it, like in one go. Like the whole thing just came to me in a vision in it. And it all hinges on the crux of Krishna's hair looking like that. Like
this is very important. And I do want to say that I like the hairstyle. It's like it's not just, I don't know, if I feel like it's well thought out, because it could be like, oh yeah, the first pass came out like this, but I feel like it fits his character and the design. It's like a little spunky, but it has a little bun that's a little traditional. I like it.
Who did you say the artist was?
Yes, people have been asking that.
So the artist is from Indonesia, and I'm not telling people who he is yet until he's finished, and then I'll be like, this is the dude that did this book. Now you can line up and get your covers off him. Yeah, because I've seen so many artists on the scene make a name and then get distracted doing cover work for people like Chimera and not like working on the actual books.
So I offered him money. It's not my fault he accepted.
I don't even know who you're on about, bro.
That's smart, though.
I'm not the only one, bro.
Hang on to your artist. Also, your colorist. I've been doing a bad job of that. But
this one's the same guy. He's really great. Like, so good. Yeah. I like when he, like, the cute stuff is cute. I like the design with Krishna. Honestly, I think his drawings of scary giant men are my favorite. Like, I love this, and I love how he draws the king. I can't wait to find out who this is. It's like a giant mystery, but you can tell me in private. This is Brahma, like, and he is the creator god of Hinduism, like, and so I modeled him somewhat off of the Christian Yahweh god in it. Like, I was like, he's got to have a beard. He's got to look like Christian god because he's the creator god. You know, like he makes the earth.
Yeah, I think your artist really shines when he's drawing like these apocalyptic dark stuff and like scary stuff.
Really good. I'm gonna steal it.
This is really nice. You say this is a secret. Is it honestly just because you're afraid that if you give him too much clout, if you like allow him to like grow an audience, you're afraid that he's gonna like find greener pastures and just leave you mid-project?
No, that happens a lot. Even with contracts, it's hard when people are international, especially. Like, what are you going to do when they're a citizen of another country? A lot of people, even if you have contracts, they leave you hanging. It's like, okay, I have this book, it's funded, and it needs to come out of this date. This person's supposed to draw it, but then someone else comes in and like pays them more, or the like artist or the colorist likes the project one, and they leave you and they break the contract, but then there's nothing to do about it because they're international. It happens all the time in indie comics. So honestly, it is smart to like hang up, like keep your artist a secret until the book comes out. The work is done.
Quite a show of distrust, though, too, in your artist. Isn't this also their book? Shouldn't they also have the right to put out their name and grow an audience?
I think you will let people know after the book comes out, right?
Yeah, I don't think that it's gonna hinder him. Like, in fact, I'll make the biggest song and dance when all the fucking pages are finished. Like, to be like, here he is, here's the legend, like, who made it. I just want to get it finished. Like, it's really important. Like, this book is the best book that I've made. Like, because it's a serious book. Like, my other books are comedy books, and like because I write comedies. This is like really important to me. This book is it's so good. It's great.
Tell you're really into it. You've done like you were just like inspiration struck you and you wrote it all at once. I can tell.
Yeah,
It's good.
I actually
It's gonna be
saved
good.
that file the next day as well, which is done. But I already know what to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it that in an ideal world, I would love for people to, well, this is the artist on a book, and then we'll can promote them and tell everybody that this is a person working on it. But I've seen a lot of projects have like their artists and colorists and get like poached is the term. So if someone has a reputation for following through and not leaving projects that they signed on for, then yeah, like well, of course you should. In an ideal world, I would love artists to be able to promote their work from the start, but I don't. I think it's just that comics don't tend to work this way. But coming from animation, that doesn't bother me that much because like we have to stay quiet about the stuff we're working on animation for years and years, like until it finally comes out.
That's not because of hiding the people that are working on there. It's because of NDAs to not showcase their book with you before.
Does the reason matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Why? Why does that bother you?
Because I feel like just the artist as much as the writer. I mean, I don't know the relationship between other groups, and you guys are talking about poaching being common, but from the beginning, like this kind of stands towards distrusting the artist to a degree to like hold the name back so that only the book benefits from that, but not the artist. I feel like it kind of leads to a relationship that is bound to be distrustful.
Exactly.
Like, why not just assume that I'll just jump over it if the collaboration is not what do you call that? On the same stance, it seems like in that case the writer is being able to actually hold it himself more important and more control of the project instead of a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's more their project and the artist is just a tool to be facilitate a project.
I don't have a problem with that if it's your idea. Sorry, go on, Mark.
If the artist was on Twitter and had a YouTube channel, it would be a lot harder for me to suppress who he is. Like, I'm sure that if people were able to reverse image search and stuff, like they could find out who he is. Like, I'm just... Yeah, what Eric says right there, like he couldn't do it. And also, he doesn't speak English good, which is another problem. Like, I was saying how difficult I find it to, like, explain to you the image that I have in my head. Mm-hmm. Try doing it to an English second language person, like, it's even harder.
I think he'll be fine. Just keep him chained up in your basement, feed him twice a week.
Wow. Disavow. Animators should animators get poached too. I don't know. It's I think it's fine to have to, as long as like it's not like someone's not getting cover credit or something. That's something I'd totally be against. But it's because of people that have fucked others over that this is the way people are incentivized to do business.
Well, I don't know. I can't I'm not close enough to any of this side of the industry to weigh in on that because I just am not familiar with it. But all I can say is that from my perspective, that sounds like you're wishing for a poor work relationship going forward. And you're also wishing for the lack of success of your artist.
No, it's quite the contrary. Like, one of the things that I'm committed to doing is getting him out of the scarf factory where he works on it. Like, and if he finishes all of the pages that we've outlined together, he can have a year off work on it, like to chase like this, and he'll have all that money at the same time. And ta-da, here he is. Like,
Yvonne's got a good point. Yvonne's got a good point.
Yeah, it's not a very wise mercenary move. A lot of people are not wise. There we go.
Well, that's a show of distrust.
It's not that I distrust. It's a proven track record for this industry.
Technically, the book isn't completed yet.
It's like, I think you're coming from like, in like publisher comics, if you're signed on for a book, people don't just flake out and don't do a book. But when it's indie comics and it's not, you're not contracted to a company, people feel like they're not actually beholden to the job they promised to do.
It happened very
Really?
publicly to Billy Tucci's campaign and it for Miss Fury.
Mhm.
Like he had an artist signed up to do it, a lady whose name I forget, who the campaign was funded. Like we're talking like tens of thousands of dollars, like invested in the campaign.
$80,000.
And then she just like, now I'm gonna go and draw fucking Wonder Woman or something. Like I can't remember what it was.
They explained that she thought it would make more money, and she's like, "Oh well, I need to work for DC now later."
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even guaranteed more money at this point. But I think it's okay as long as you know, when the book comes out, it's, you make sure to promote them and put them out there, of course, cover credit. And it's like, if someone proves that they stick around for one book, then that should, you know, keep them around and promote them on books going forward. Like, people should be able to build a track record of trust. But it's kind of like being flaky is a real big problem in indie comics. So
Yeah.
I guess so. Like, let me just Sumo Tori. The comment that you're highlighting there is like same reason why you don't give them all the money up front. Like, no, yeah, I agree with that. Like, I get that there is a level of trust between a collaboration, and I know that that's also we got you guys talking about people actually like breaking contract and all this. But yeah, that's the same. Yeah, you don't give all the money up front. It's at least the way that I'm used to is to have half up front and half at the end for work. But like that is the point of those things. That is the point of a contract. That is the point of actually dividing the payment, so that you can forego all the what song and dance of trying to put other, what do you call that, security measures? I don't know what the word is for it. Really spacing out on words today. But yeah, so it's like it just seems like additional barbed wire around the project. But I mean, you guys handle the way you mean, and again, we don't come from the same culture as Irene when she's talking about like animation and stuff. She seems very at ease with this, and you guys talking about this happening in the comics. Like, I get that. Like, I personally find that upsetting when working with someone, because I personally dislike the disparity in power, and I feel like that's the point of making contracts, and that's the point of dividing the payment, to have some kind of security with this. And it shows distrust. But again, I don't know you guys' relationship. Mm-hmm. But to change the subject, kind of moving forward, when we were talking about the Indian stories not having been adapted or very popularly, and then we brought these ones up again. I always forget the company, but the ones that we're showing, the yellow band on the top. The one that I was saying, like, to me is like, I feel like I've seen, like, I looked it up. I actually saw this one on our local comic book shop back when we were in Atlanta. It was like Ramayan and a Grant Morrison's 18 Days.
Grant Morrison.
Yeah, Grant Morrison did an adaptation of it as well. Well, not of this. Grant Morrison
hold
did
on, full screen, yeah.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, so I was like, oh, geez.
Oh, I can't see. Oh, God.
Yeah.
No,
So-
that's a screen through a screen share on a stream is not really working.
That seems a little bit better inside. But yeah, like,
Okay, I can
remember,
kind of see it, yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Oh.
these covers. So it was like really detailed, cool covers, but it's like, it's not like we talked about. Similarly to those other texts, even these ones that are actually adapted in a more traditional Western narrative style, they're very wordy. They're very, they have a lot of exposition on text boxes on the top of pages, kind of explaining things instead of letting it be talked through on scenes.
Yeah, that book, Ramayana, is a like totally different time period, like hundreds of years away from this. And then 18 Days tells the story of the Mahabharata War, like which is where I intend for this series to end, like in a long time, like when Krishna's an adult man or whatever, and they fight this epic war. Like so imagine like if you had the Battle of Troy, but like just threw every like Greek hero that you've ever heard of like in there. I know there's a lot of them in there already, but just like throw everyone in. And by the time I get to that, I'm gonna have an entire like pantheon of these anime versions like of all these characters, and it's gonna be like a Dragon Ball War, like which is that'll be great too. Like I'm excited for that too. But yeah, both of
Chat seems to like it. See, Billy Baxter. Hi, Billy. KRISHNA Kid is going to be awesome. I think so too. I think so too. This gets me excited, and I love mythology. I just never sat down to read this stuff. I'm going to now. So this makes it look really cool, and I feel like I hope that this ropes more people into reading the actual mythology. Of course, like you're making it accessible and look really awesome. You know,
it's very intimidating to just read a full text, but it's like it's things like this, like me, Irene clearly likes her Nordic stuff, and it's just you have to be engaged with some other things, especially when you have a lower reading level or you're just not really looking in the library for these kinds of things. It gets you started on things. Like you know what? Before we came on the stream, because Mark, you were talking, you and Irene were talking about the hairstyle of your Krishna character. That's actually the first thing that Ariel actually brought to me when we was like, oh yeah, this guy is like, he's like doing you saw Irene says like it's gonna be like the Krishna Kid or something, and there's like the anime hair. He looks just like Io from Shaman King.
We say Io because that's how he's referred to in Spanish, but he's referred to Yo everywhere else.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, Yo. But yeah. So I was like, I was thinking like Shaman King, for example, like exposed me to a lot of different mythologies that made me. It's like, oh man, this is so cool. It's seen through this lens of manga, but it made me curious to read about that. And yeah. So I was like, it's definitely cool to have something that is more accessible to young tastes, and that it's like how Mark says, like you see these cool fights, but it tends to just be like a sentence, and then they fought, but then his treasure fell, and then he picked it up, and he deceived him, and he won, and then he gets the girl. Like, man, like he says, like you look at these old comics, and it's like these things sound so cool, but they're just like automatons, just kind of moving around and picking weapons and shooting them and grabbing them and stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes your imagination run wild because what you're seeing on the page is not reflecting what you're.
Yeah, a more engaging and flowing narrative is easier to empathize with, especially when you actually make a character that you fleshed out emotional development for.
Well, as well, like it's worth pointing out that Krishna himself, as a kid in KRISHNA Kid, he's like the ultimate Mary Sue character. He is the supreme god, like of the universe, and and it becomes a challenge in writing. Like, how do you make that interesting?
Like when you see the stories, it's always just like, oh man, we're on this challenge. Oh shit! Like all of these people are losing. It's okay, guys. Krishna's here. Like, okay. Done.
Yeah.
Akira Toriyama did this, right? How did he do it?
It really feels. It's like how we're talking. BBC. It really feels like, oh my god, all the Earth Z fighters are really strong. Oh, Goku's here. Okay, well, let's just go take a vacation. We're done.
You could take like the One Punch Man approach, which was brilliant, but I don't know if you could like duplicate it without completely ripping it off.
I feel
Krishna's
like
depressed.
I feel like that thing it works as a comedy. If you start doing the same, then everybody is gonna just like, oh well, you're just copying One Punch Man with that dynamic.
Yeah. It's you can't duplicate that.
The answer that I've taken to how to solve that problem is that it's about his relationships with the other characters and and how they deal and how they feel about him being like this Mary Sue character. Like,
yeah.
I compare to that.
Ellen has a point. Yeah, just don't tell people your character's a Mary Sue. Okay, what is Krishna's journey? What is like
at the same
his
time,
goals? Tell us about that.
Anybody that reads the title, just like if you know who Krishna is, you know he's essentially One Punch Man. Like, come on.
Though I still think I like what you said there, though, Mark, because it sounds like a character can be good at everything and be the strongest fighter around, be an omnipotent being, but that doesn't mean they don't have relationship problems. It doesn't mean they don't struggle with like their relationship with their brother and their friends, and that could be the core of what the story is about. You can win every fight, but still be like, well, how do I reconnect with my family?
Yeah, exactly. And so this one's 3 books in it, like I said, smushed together, issues 1, 2, and 3. And at the end of 2 and the beginning of 3, like he has like a real broken emotional moment or whatever in it. Like it's really good. You'll come for the action and the fights, and you'll stay for the character moments in it. Like that's what's great. Like you will love these characters. All these cool pictures of the gods and the Destructo discs and that'll be second, like after you've read it, like behind. How
Right.
cool
Tell us a little bit about them.
So hang on, let me find you.
Oh yeah, screen share on your end again.
Find you a nice one.
I'm very sure that's not what he's going for, Don Ringo.
Also, if you're taking more of like a parody route, you can just have fun with it. I mean, it's like I can see this working in multiple ways.
Yeah. I don't think a character who's they don't, they're strong and they win every fight. That doesn't mean they can't lead. I feel that's a little bit of a surface way of looking at things.
Oh yeah, I don't think anybody's really saying that. That just seemed like a surface jab, but not a real argument anyway.
Yeah.
No, it's just I think we've been, and I do want to get to this subject in a bit. There have been so many bad examples of that in modern media where it's like, yeah, let's make a strong character, and a strong character means they're awesome at everything. Everybody likes them, even if they're a total jackass and they never have consequences. You're supposed to like this character. And
you
that doesn't
yourself
work.
brought up how you yourself brought up how that's also been debated with books like One Punch Man.
No, I'm talking about stuff like Star Wars and Carol Danvers.
Well, I know I don't know anything about Star Wars. Never mind.
Next
Like
time.
what? You've
Well-
never seen Star Wars?
I don't like Star Wars. I haven't really cared about it.
I mean-
Nick's weird.
I
I mean, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but it's good. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't like Star Wars either, but I still like watching reviews of it when it's like, people ripping it to shreds. I think it's kind of funny. So.
I get why it's influential, but no, I enjoy people like ripping apart the new trilogy more than the Star Wars franchise in general.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Rey Skywalker and Mary Sue.
Yeah, I like the Clone Wars. Honestly, that's my favorite installation of it. But anyways, all right, let's go back to Krishna Kid.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about your characters here.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like characters.
So
Ooh, I love seeing this.
in the first chapter, the first chunk or whatever, you try and like establish the characters subtle though in it, and I tried to do this thing in the first part of the book in the Great Butter Heist, where Krishna demonstrates like all of his powers, not all of his powers, a selection of his powers in this non-fight scenario, like this is just how I be Krishna like day to day with my awesome powers or whatever. So so they're breaking into this house to steal butter because he might be a god, like the supreme god, but he's still a cheeky,
Even
naughty
gods don't have enough
8-year-old
power.
boy in it. So here, Balrama, he's like closing the door behind them because he wants to be like a leader. That's an important, responsible role in it because everything that he does is trying to be equal to Krishna and and then we see like some speed powers. I'm clicking on the wrong screen. Okay, so this guy here, Sudama, he is a coward. He is he's not very. He doesn't share like with the other children. is not a very nice boy in it. And then the fat kids, Duncan Krishna, like they're best friends. He's kind of like, you know, the character Mikey from Recess. Like people know who that is.
Well, I mean, I remember the show, but I only remember them visually. Which one is Mikey? Is he that big fat guy?
Yeah, the big fat one.
Okay, yeah, the big, the super, like he's like twice the size of every normal kid. Okay, yeah, he's kind of oafish, but he's likes the tambourine.
Yeah. In this version, Bulk and Skull are the other way around. This is like the follower. Anyway. This is the girl Radha, and she. That's not a good picture of her. A bit spoilery there. That's probably the best one so far. She is like. So in the book, they have like a sort. She's a girl. That's her character now. It's like
She's a girl.
No, Sally!
She has a really complicated relationship with both Krishna and Balrama because she doesn't like believe that he is who he says he is, and it like she doesn't trust him. Like for example, after this page, they're going to go and steal butter, and stealing butter is morally wrong in it. Like, and she's like, "Why would you be stealing butter if you God?" And then like,
that is interesting. So she doesn't actually, she mistrusts them, and you have the follower characters, and then of course the brother's on his side, but right, she's questioning his decisions, right? That's her role.
Like, in fact, I can tell you that even in this page, here she refers to him as Magic Boy, like disbelieving.
I like that. Oh, because so she's a little bit of a bitch. She's like my girl character. I like her already.
And then as the story goes and the arc continues, like that gets broken down somewhat. Yeah, it's hard to like say so much without giving too many spoilers. Like,
no, I think just like the characters' relationships on each other. If you focus on that makes them really interesting. Because I know you don't want to spoil like who fights who. We can't know that, but I want to, because I think your character relationships are what drives your story. So if you just mention, okay, it revolves around these kids. You have this like supreme being, but this is how all the other core group reacts. This is how they evolve.
Because like especially when we've been talking about the book and stuff and looking at the pictures, you talk about this cast of characters, but looking at the pages and hearing you talk about it, honestly, it feels like Krishna, 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 Krishna. And so when I heard about this before, it sounds like it is Krishna's book, period. And so now that you're talking about a cast, I'm kind of surprised that there is a cast following him.
Yeah, I want to know about these
I literally
people.
don't know what the book is about, because like we know that the story exists. We know that Krishna is in it. Is the book about a ragtag group of kids and one of them just happens to be a god? Is there
that sounds interesting. Because
if you look at like Mark, if you look at like the back summary of the book,
premise,
the thing on the back of the book with no spoilers, but like trying to sell you on what the book is about. What is the book about?
So to answer some of that question, these three, Krishna, Balrama, and Radha, those are the three most important characters. Those are like the trilogy that it follows. The Trimurti, in fact, that's what they're kind of referred to. And I was trying to build like a Teen Titans team out of characters that were around in Krishna's childhood, like that interacted with each other. I pulled out like the tropiest ones, the fat friend, for example, the poor lying thief or whatever, ones that had good pre-existing, like this happened, and I said, oh, there's a nice lesson like in between these. Okay, so King Kamsa, there is a prophecy that Krishna is going to be born and he's going to come and kill him. And King Kamsa plays the role in this of Rita Repulsa, in that he sends a monster of the week each week to try and kill Krishna in it. Like, and every monster that comes, like,
teaches him a lesson and progresses the story towards the ultimate fight against Mustache Man.
yeah, exactly. But then each monster that comes, like, also resolve some kind of like a story beat or character conflict like that's going on, you know, how that works. Like
You should lead with that at the beginning. Every time you talk about this book, say that it's the king. There's a prophecy. He sends monsters to fight this kid that's prophesied to kill him, and every monster, the way it progresses his relationship with his friends. That's great.
Just like
The chat is on my side about my theory that bitch tits is Ganesha.
Thank you for your amazing theory.
You know what?
I got the chat to agree with
To
me.
be fair, I honestly thought it was Ganeshka as well at the beginning. What was the deal with him? Is like, how was it that he got the elephant head? Because I know at some point it was about like losing the head and like somehow it gets replaced.
Yeah, his dad chopped his head off, and then his mom was like, "Why'd you chop our son's head off?" And then he went out and he got an elephant's head, swapped him over.
Okay, but like I get it. I mean, just like I honestly thought that was Ganeshka. Like it was just gonna be like, oh, through the story he gets his head lopped off, and then he gets the elephant. That's his Sentai power upgrade.
That would be. It's okay. No spoilers.
No spoilers, but
my Indian mythology.
Just literally what you said, honey. You just
so is Krishna Kid the only god, or are these kids undercover as gods?
We will get a cast of gods as bad guys, or, you know, misinformed good guys, or whatever. Like, there are supporting character gods, that we will see.
Like Krishna actually ends up eventually like fighting other gods. Like that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So, in this story, in the complete Eye of Brahma saga, he ends. Okay, let's zoom out, like, because I forget how much people do or don't know, like, about the actual scripture in it, because I've read loads of it. So Krishna is the supreme god Vishnu on Earth in human form in it, like as an avatar, like Jesus. Like, if you're a Christian, you can understand God came to Earth in a human body as Jesus or whatever. That's what Krishna is, but he's 8. He's not 33. But while Krishna is on Earth, while Vishnu's consciousness is in this human body, in heaven, he's asleep. Yeah, like he's not running the show. He's busy playing with his friends, having fun in the universe that he demanded be created. You know, he's just having fun, like he's plugged into the Matrix or whatever.
Okay.
So while that's going on, the other gods are in heaven. It's not heaven, but you know. And they are running the show now, like while Vishnu is away. There's like 3 top Hindu gods: Brahma, the creator; Vishnu, the maintainer; and Shiva, the destroyer. Yeah. Usually it's Vishnu's job to be in charge, make sure everything's ticking over. And when the balance between good and evil on Earth is out of sync, he comes down in human form and he kicks ass, like, and sorts out the world and then goes back again. That's a cyclical cycle that's happened 10 times according to Hinduism. Krishna is the 8th avatar of Vishnu, and that is why he has 8 segments in his hair in it. Like, that's a thing.
Oh, interesting. Interesting detail.
I love this. Like,
Jojo fist bullets.
Nice.
but because Hindu gods traditionally have multiple arms, and it leans into that. So the king is looking for the child so he can kill him before he kills the king.
Mhm.
So the parents of the child and the town, in fact, they moved somewhere else. So now nobody knows where he is. The gods have lost him, and the king have lost him. And the race is on to find him, and before the king does and kills him. But then at the same time, Brahma, the creator god who's up there, he's starting to think, well, I created this universe. I'm the one watching over it now. We don't need Vishnu anymore. I'm the supreme god now. And then that is what leads to the showdown between Krishna and Brahma when he comes to finish him off or whatever.
All right.
It makes me think a lot of the Disney Hercules movie with when there's a constant looming threat of Hades and him just sicking all of the was it like the 13 labors of Hercules, was it? I think so. It's like they show those in the as like a montage of that, but looking at it, because also growing like Monsters of the Week and Super Sentai stuff, I was like, man, I much rather have seen all those fights instead of dealing with all of his family baggage stuff, because in my mind, Hercules has built like such a bad character in this movie, where his flaw is like, oh man, I'm so strong and beautiful and talented. So clumsy.
That makes total sense.
That is, if that was all you guys were gonna do, why didn't you just cut that and show me more monster fights instead?
That would have been cool. That would have been cool.
I'm really glad that you brought up the Disney Hercules movie, because when Irene mentioned the topic of the show, that was like one of the movies that was going to attack, for being a bad adaptation.
Oh yeah, why don't we just slide right into that? Let's go. How do you fail at an adaptation?
Well, you just fuck it off the source material, innit? That's how you fail. But that can be good. You just gotta do it good. The Disney Hercules movie, when that came out, I was probably 10 or 11, something like that, innit? Like a child. I don't know how old you guys are, whether you was children or not when that.
We were young. We were young enough to.
Chimera was still a sperm, I believe.
When did Hercules come out?
Yeah, I was 4 when that movie came out, and I actually saw it.
1997-ish?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I was 4.
Definitely.
We were all alive. We're just small.
Yeah, they had the foam sandals, and I'm like, I had foam sandals.
That was so lame.
But yeah, I was so excited for that film as a 10-year-old or however old I was, because I was familiar with the source material in it. And I'd be saying to my 5-year-old brother, oh, and this is gonna happen. Wait until he kills the lion. After all, the labors, and then so the film opens, and you see Zeus and Hera, and she's just his mother, and she's nice.
Right?
These are the first beats of the movie, and you're
criticize Hera being super nice and caring. Who is this?
They didn't show Zeus screwing around and getting women pregnant.
She's the villain of the story, of a lot of Greek mythology. In fact, she is. And they're just she's the mom. Hades is the bad guy. The ruler of the underworld makes more sense. They just throw all the material in the bin. Like you said, the 12 labors are reduced to a montage in the middle, to show his progression.
You can turn things on its head, though, but still be respectful to. Well, I think being respectful depends on cultural view, like we talked about before. But you can still turn things on its head, but make it a good story.
Do remember the history of that movie? Because the issue was that
the directors that actually were working on this was not a passion project. This was, we made 3 movies that earned bank for Disney, and Disney won't let us do the movie that we fucking want.
Oh,
And then it's like, they held that hostage. Like, you do the most, what is like lowest common denominator movie. Like, it has to be a guaranteed hit, and you can finally do Treasure Planet. And
All
that
the
was
pop culture references.
that was Hercules. Hercules.
That's right.
Was a bargaining chip to get to Treasure Planet.
That's so sad, and both those movies didn't do well.
Yeah,
Hercules didn't do well.
no, it did not.
Really?
No, it didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, being again, I kind of agree with Irene, because like in Latin America, it just came normally and like everybody liked it. And it was like, oh yeah, Disney and America, money and Air Jordans, America.
It was very. It's like people know,
like,
but it wasn't even like Mulan.
It just felt like everybody did still go watch it. So it was just like,
Right.
I thought that was a
loved it.
success, and I liked it enough as a kid. It's like, I know it was not a good movie, but it was like, it was a fun movie for me as a
I
kid.
thought it was so fun. I loved it.
I love the Hydra. Oh, the Hydra was so fun. That's one of the first ones where like kind of smoothed over animation scenes that I actually did like, because usually those kinds of things like really jet out at you as just not fitting. But yeah, the Hydra fight was great, and I loved the.
Of course, you would like the Hydra.
When like the Hydra just like, yeah, but it's like they put some great animation on. Like, I hated the Titans. The Titans sucked.
Right.
But like the Hydra, when he eats Hercules, and Hercules cuts him from the inside out, and you see the blade ripping that open, and he falls over covered in blood slime. That was awesome.
Yeah.
No, I like the art style, like the art, and I think I always remember like the dark, sad scene. So that scene when he was like swimming out to get Megara, getting old, and that's like the only thing I remember. I love the art style, but it says a lot that I don't remember anything else about it.
Have you seen the original concept art for it, Irene? Because it was apparently
Who is the artist?
the character design for the character and oral design for Hercules was actually done by an artist that was usually doing music videos. And I think he was the one that was actually hired to do the music video for The Wall.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So
I just don't know his name. I forget his name.
Me too. But like the designs are so they're pushed so much out there. If you actually look at the concept art,
They're pretty
they're-
dark looking.
I should
do like
check
the
it out.
way they use like that ancient Greek like like what is it?
Yeah,
It's
the
like a
pottery
wave,
art.
like geometrically, like
the little swirl.
Well, the
yeah, like they use it on all the ankles and stuff.
it
the
was-
motifs.
Yeah.
It was done very well. It looked like animated Greek art. Like the visuals were thought out very well, but I feel like it wasn't put together in the best way.
Yeah, like if I remember correctly, instead of actually prioritizing it having been a translation of the Greek myth, because the thing is that I was actually just listening to some videos talking about the Hercules movies. Apparently, the idea behind it was that the directors were more interested in using it as a vehicle. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's the original art.
There we go.
As a vehicle to facilitate what they thought would be a story to comment on the depiction and understanding from North American media of the North American superhero and athlete stars. And so Hades is not actually supposed to be it's supposed to actually be a mirror to sports stars and their contracts. There we go. So
But how many people would get that?
I don't know about that. Like, they were very heavy-handed with some of the references, like the Air Jordan stuff, or like
I guess I was too young to get
like,
it.
Hercules.
I am a hero. I'm an action figure. Quack, quack. So
Oh,
it's like,
right.
yeah, it's like it really draws that. I never noticed it, the Hades thing, until I started looking at some videos about it. But yeah, it's like, despite the style, it's the Hercules part of it was the least thing that they really cared about in that translation. It was supposed to be just talk about North American media.
Yeah, maybe you should put the actual mythology and the characters first instead of making an allegory for some American problem.
I guess.
But again,
That's
like
if
you can't.
if your priority is adaptation, but nobody really said that it was. You know, they just used that to be able to tell a different story. I'm not saying that that was better, but it was clearly not trying to really say the story of Heracles.
But
I
the title
would
is
say-
Hercules.
Yeah, it
If
was.
we-
Heracles
You can say that about any Disney movie, but like none of them really
Well,
kind of tell that story.
Disney. Nothing they do is accurate.
Just curious, Nick, do you know if Heracles or Hercules or whatever the fuck his name is, didn't he kill one of his tutors in the mythology?
I remember that he killed his fucking wife and son.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he killed them because he actually went mad with Grace. Oh man, I love the fates. They're so
This
cool.
concept art is really. This is reminding me of the concept art for How to Train a Dragon,
I'm pretty sure
Those
he
books
did
are-
like
those
beat
books
his
are
tutor
really
to death.
cute.
especially this one. Yeah.
Those books are really
I'm
cute.
pretty
Yeah,
sure he beat his tutor to death when he was like a child. Like he was big and strong. So, yeah,
This is a funny discussion because I've been re-obsessed with God of War recently, and I've been just
right.
all day.
Yeah,
I've been watching playthroughs in the background, and
they
I'm
portrayed
loving this.
Hades as more like a Satan figure. Did you notice that in God of War?
Oh
3?
yeah, they straight up say hell. In the,
Yeah.
of the movie
Yeah.
Hercules. They don't because they already gave Hades the name and they refused to actually make the confusion for general audience. It's like Hades and Hades. It's hell. And or like when you see when we're talking about shorthand and like how Hera is not depicted as Hera. She's depicted as just a mother figure so that the general audience understands her role. You can say the same thing about when Hercules goes to actually pray at the temple. Instead of a good Greek boy of actually bringing like a goat and sacrificing it at the temple, he actually kneels down and puts his hand in prayer. So it's like
Yeah, I
it's a
don't
lot of
think,
shorthand,
I
which
don't
I
think that's
don't feel is
necessarily bad.
it makes it immediately understandable because if you bring it over to an audience that is not familiar with this, now you have to bog down the story explaining something that the story is not about.
I think too much of it is the problem, though. I get shorthand so people understand things. Because I can go on and on about the inaccuracies in Mulan, but it's still my favorite Disney movie.
Yeah, but like
Well, even
Mulan had a high. I feel like Mulan was actually taking itself seriously as a story, and like I
That helps.
Like but like you are idealizing certain kinds of story.
Exactly.
but-
I have a preference, and I know.
but that doesn't make things that you don't like bad.
Right. It's a difference between like you have to recognize like what's your opinion and what's like actually just like better or worse. It's like
Oh yeah, I know that. I'm not.
okay.
From what I remember, like Hercules was not objectively a well-told story. It was. I feel like, from what I remember, again, this is not like it's fresh. I haven't watched it in years. I barely remember it, but it seemed like it was really heavy in some parts, but then it was so jokey. It was a lot of whiplash, and I just wanted to the tone was kind of. It's like it wasn't sincere, and I think sincerity. You can have a comedy. Sincerity is not the same as a serious story that takes itself seriously, right? So you can have a comedy that's sincerely told. I think that was my problem with Hercules. I think that objectively just makes it a less smooth than a lot of other Disney movies. And if you like it, it's fine. But I think it could have been done a lot better.
I mean, it could have. Yeah. It's like
but that was,
its priority wasn't being a faithful adaptation, and its priority was to be a marketable family movie, just covering some kind of legend. And even then, it kind of failed at times in the script department. Clunky movie at the end of the day.
I want the next game.
But I'm sorry, Mark. I honestly did hijack this thing because you were about to actually talk about it, and you were excited to talk about Hercules, and I got excited about it.
Sorry, we both got carried away.
What is it that you wanted to talk about and talking about adaptation here with Hercules and stuff?
Oh, just that they just ignored the material in it, and just made their own thing, in the universe. If I remember correctly, the moral of that Hercules movie, is that being a hero is about being willing to make those self-sacrifices or whatever.
Yeah. Which is
Fun.
funny because Hercules walks back on the one deal he makes, but Hades sticks to both of his deals.
Right. It's very
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I mean, you say the thing is just like I am used to North American media doing this a lot, and it still idealizes the hero. It's just that on that one, it's just like it is funny that is the message on that one.
Well, here's the thing, Mark, is that
for
you
Hollywood
said that,
shit.
you say that accuracy to the original source material is your priority, but it's I mean, like we're talking about different preferences because there are different kinds of adaptations you can make. Like the Indian comics that we were talking about that we have books of the same series from is like that's technically, from what I understand, meant to be faithful to the source material, but for like a modern audience who is picking up a comic book, that could be considered very boring to read, and that's not a good adaptation from what our expectations might be. Like you're obviously trying to make something that's actually entertaining, so it's not just accuracy to the source material.
Well, Mark didn't say that the priority should be adaptation, but we originally started this conversation when talking about what makes a good adaptation and what makes a bad adaptation.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Right.
I'm not saying there's a hard and fast rule that adaptations have to be faithful to the original material. Just that in Krishna Kid, like that's the way that I'm doing it. There is an argument to be made that every book that I have made is an adaptation of sorts. So the North Korea book, Best Korea, that book is made out of photographs, real photographs, and it retells the story of the Korean War, but I've moved some things around, like, and changed some context and made some tweaks here and there. And now, North Korea win the war on it. Like, so it's an adaptation of the Korean War that completely, like, screws the timeline, and it's completely wrong. This other book, not Daredevil, that's in demand now, you can go and back it. It takes, like, it's got this... that page is weird. I don't want to show that one. It's got like a golden. It's made out of golden age art in it, like public domain golden age art.
No, we'll still do.
ah.
Oh my God! Hold still.
Well, it's public domain art. Did you just like re-letter it and
Yeah, just re-lettered in it, like to tell a new story inside the framework of the original story in it. Like again, an adaptation, but this one's like a mockery, like a.
No, yeah, but it's like we keep talking about that every now and then on conversation when we talk about the Marvel style. That's essentially what the Marvel style was. It's just grab a bunch of pictures, like this kind of fits here. Let's create a story out of that.
Yeah, and what I challenge that is to write like that because every speech bubble already exists in it, and they're already a set size and shape. Yeah. So I have to tell my own story and also fit it inside each of the bubbles in the order that people talk. And they can't have too much to say because it's got to fit. They can't have too little to say because that looks dumb if they say yes inside like a giant balloon.
If you look back at old comics though, Mark, you see that they actually did do that. Like Marvel style comics would actually have just like a panel of like the thing just kind of like and it has like this huge speech bubble, and it just says on small font, "Stop that! I don't like it."
Oh, manga does that all the time too. Like giant speech bubble, just like okay.
Yeah, but it's like it really was like a problem. Just like the speech bubble was set, and I'm like, we don't have anything to. Okay, let's just write what it is. Or sometimes they would just kind of go, or you would see like that kind of. God damn! What is his name? The guy that says that he made Spider-Man. I forget his name. Everybody knows.
Was it Steve?
Stan Lee. Sorry, it's just I'm spacing out on his name. Stan Lee. What you would oftentimes see the books, and like Stan Lee would have just like this way of writing where it just kind of feels like you're reiterating what you're saying multiple times, and it would be because he has those panels where you're saying a basic concept. but you need to fill out a whole speech bubble. So you just say it in like the most long-winded way as possible and say like 3 times in a row.
I mean, that's a little weird because unless you're doing what Mark is doing, then you can control whether the size of the speech bubble.
But it's a collaboration. You see, so it's like it'll go like, remember, like this Marvel method would be like you have a general layout of what it's going to be like, but not a proper script. He wouldn't write a proper script, so it's just like some layouts of it, and then the artist's like, okay, let's draw this, and then somebody else has to just cram in letters, and so it's like a 3-step broken telephone, and the speech bubbles were already made, and someone has the layouts, but they have to assume how much is going to be said, but not exactly.
No, that's why you letter first and then do the art if you're going to not have a script. Anyways.
Yeah, but we're talking about Marvel method. That is the Marvel method.
Okay, well, that's chaotic. Dan Ringel has a good point. I feel like good adaptations can make their own stories, but stand strong to the spirit of the source material. Yeah, I think that sums up very well. As you can, I think I like seeing things, and this is a personal preference, and then clearly there are people who like just word for word adaptations of the original source material. But I think it's cool when people take mythology and like turn things on its head. But like I like to see, but it's if they don't pay tribute to any of the original like morality or the original spirit of the mythology at all, then that's also too much. Because then what's the point of like using mythology as a backdrop? What's the point of using these characters? So you can add your own take on things and change things, but it should be a balance. And when people find that balance and suddenly Loki's the good guy and then Thor and Odin are assholes, I'm like, I love that. That's so cool. But then like the spirit of the of what the sagas have said, again, I'm talking about God of War because I'm really into God of War right now, but like the spirit of what is a warrior, and that was a lot of what was in the sagas, and like how to be a good person, and then like the mythology is in all the creatures and the realms that's still in there, so it's a balance and it respects what was originally there.
Sure, but I feel like that's also a case-by-case scenario, because you're talking about adaptation having to be faithful to the original source material, but I feel like that only works with intent actually synergizing with that, because the message and overall content of a story can evolve, especially when the original purpose or message of it is become so redundant or useless at a certain point. Like take, for example, since we've been talking about Disney adaptations, you can go over to like The Hunchback of Notre Dame, because the original story was not The Hunchback of Notre Dame. It was I forget what it was just supposed to be Notre Dame or something like that, because like the point of the story was talking about the validity and usefulness of the structures and what that meant. So the whole like all of this backdrop that we actually now see that people really love and have romanticized about the story of Hunchback, with the war and racism against the gypsies, the issues with Frollo and religion, like all these things have been swapped out because it was not a priority at all for the original writer. He did not give a crap about that. And like there's actually like a weird thing about Esmeralda actually having been a white baby that was stolen by gypsies, and in the end they all die anyway. The story is about buildings, but the loss came in thanks to the attention of the book and on preservation of the structures, and that's actually why Notre Dame was actually reconstructed from all the damage that it had. And even the author himself realized that the text was obsolete, but there was other things that the audience had latched onto that were not at all in the original intent or the message that was in there. And they were able to create a story with new intent. So like, I don't feel like you have to grab onto anything really that the original story is doing, because as long as you have a purpose, which is what I agree is the issue with Hercules. It did not have a purpose to really grab the story of Hercules. It could have been anything, and it wastes the potential of having grabbed something that could have had a particular meaning when they could have grabbed something that actually exemplified the themes that they wanted to talk about.
Cool. We didn't contradict anything I just said. I said I had a personal preference about if the mythology, a little bit of the mythology is in there, but no, you don't.
I think what Nick is trying to say is that Krishna Kid needs to be god of war, and he needs to kill all the other Hindu gods. That's what you need to do. Cut their heads off.
I don't think that even the Hunchback of Notre Dame, it uses the setting and the story it told on what people got from the adaptation was totally different. But there's still, I don't know, there's still elements to it that are faithful to the original. It's not completely changed. Just because the message is different doesn't mean, or things are turned on its head. That doesn't mean that.
But the message, the characters, and the purpose of the story was changed. And so how is that?
Yeah, that's fine.
And so how is that different from the adaptation of Hercules when they use similar ideas of the setting and the characters, but they changed the whole thing? So
where do you draw the line?
Where are you drawing the line with that?
I would argue in those two cases that one of those stories, Hercules versus the Hunchback of Notre Dame, is way more famous to begin with. I don't think that there were as many people going, the Hunchback of Notre Dame is changed from the source material as there was to the Hercules one. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm biased because I knew the Hercules one and not the other one.
Maybe not in our circles, but the Hunchback of Notre Dame had a big following, especially because of his stage play adaptations. And the reason why I bring that up is because when we're talking about changing it, the point of the Hunchback of Notre Dame is that it has evolved from the text onto multiple stage plays, and all of them took a different path. And so the modern versions are actually a weird hodgepodge of all of these pieces. So the expectation came from that. The kids obviously did not give a shit going onto this, and were just surprised by the fact that there was a lusty, not a priest guy going on to this movie that was totally sold as it's happy. I'm like Quasimodo, and the gargoyles were going on a festival.
What I'm saying is it's cool if you keep in original elements from what was the original mythology or the original story, but it's cool that it's in there. What makes a successful adaptation is still the heart of the story needs to be there. The story has to be focused. It has to actually and that was a problem with Hercules. That's the difference between Hunchback of Notre Dame and Hercules. It wasn't that, which one was more faithful to the original mythology. I don't give a shit if it's faithful to the original mythology. You can change anything. You can change anything. You can make Hades the good guy. I don't care. The point is that the story needs to be focused.
Am I getting this wrong? Or are you feeling attacked, Irene, when you says
no,
you're not saying this. You're not contradicting me.
Who said they wanted Irene to be mad? Who said they wanted Irene to be mad? I forget now. You're welcome.
He's always
I'm not mad. It's just Nick didn't seem to understand what I was saying. So I'm reiterating what I was saying, because you were reframing what I said as, I think you were framing it as, I'm all about you have to be faithful to the original. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying.
Me neither.
She loves the.
I'm glad.
Death Note.
Cool.
She loves Death Note on Netflix.
I don't love Death Note on Netflix.
So here's something. Like I mentioned, I'm doing a King Arthur adaptation. I'm one of a million people who's doing that.
Thank you, Sumothora. Yes, I'm just passionate. God.
So I just looked up this list of all the millions of King Arthur adaptations, and they have put them into categories of faithful, trying to retell the stories, and then there's modernish spins on it, like King Arthur in modern day or in the future, and then there's and then there's just things that are just vaguely inspired by King Arthur, completely different stories that just have King Arthur elements in them. One of which is very popular. You guys might know the Fate series, which there's a spectrum of just an entire thing.
I guess they do retell it in a way.
I would say Fate actually bothers me because I'm I don't see the point.
Well, you know why Fate is popular. It was an H game, so that's why.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow.
It started out as an H game.
Hentai.
Making a good point here.
Yeah, but then what's the point? So that's.
I'm sorry,
So,
Mark. What?
I guess that makes it a great adaptation.
Just glitching.
I'm not defending Fate, but I'm just saying there's a reason that why it's popular is because of it was a porn game, guys.
Yeah. Oh wait.
So
Oh, it's actually
if-
porn?
Wait.
Hentai. It was a hentai game.
Was it a hentai game or was it a dating game?
I thought it was a hentai game.
I'm pretty sure it's just a dating game.
It's not like I played it, guys. Chat,
No.
tell me.
I think it's a
let
Chat,
me-
you would
somebody,
know.
somebody
So
fact
confident.
check me.
I was so confident.
Oh yeah, like
Which
there's you can have
Oh,
romance.
I've heard it said over and over again, but
Mm-hmm. Series. Is that the one where King Arthur is a chick?
Yep.
yeah.
That sounds
Yeah. I really like that series. It's really fun, and I think that they some of the series actually make a good job at actually making
Yeah,
the characters
it says-
engaged despite a huge
It
cast.
says
There have been good seasons.
Yeah,
I really
I
like
do-
some of it.
I do really dislike the whole King Arthur thing being a chick because like the worst thing is like it could be something, but just like what we talked, like if it had a purpose, but
Right.
throughout it's just like it doesn't make sense with any of the lore that you guys bring up, and it really just brings out like everything else. It seems so much better structured in this story, except that you just had to excuse King Arthur having tits.
yeah. It says Fate series was a
You have to be
visual novel.
open-minded.
It says Fate series is a visual novel in eroge, eroge,
Doujinshi?
Ero.
whatever.
Eroji?
Yeah. It's like I think the thing is
So
just, like,
erotic.
it's
Erotic
dated.
visual novel. There you go.
Yeah.
So you're having sex with King Arthur?
I think it was a porn one. Wait,
So wait. So Fate series is you're having sex with King Arthur.
I don't
No,
know. You read it and tell us.
Okay.
So
You're
yeah,
not interested.
What the fuck?
if you're
Oh, Mark? Yeah, what was it?
if you're doing an adaptation of something like King Arthur, where you can Google it and there are 400,000 other people doing it, then in those cases, I would say maybe you might have to stray a bit further away from the source material to have like something that stands out in the list and it like
Well, literally, yes. If you want it to stand out, then literally it would have to be different.
yeah, but
Yeah,
that's also
exactly.
the point of just doing any story. You'd have to have some kind of a twist or a new purpose for it.
But
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
still like faithful adaptations that are being made for it.
yeah, and it goes in cycles and it so being a British person, like this is a thing that I've looked at a few times, and like because one of my dreams is to put together like a public domain English team of like characters for some, and King
I've
Arthur's.
heard of that a few times.
Of
And
characters.
so like another example is Robin Hood, like they make. They reboot Robin Hood like every 4 years or something, trying to make it stick. And I always thought I'd like to make a Robin Hood, but I'd make Robin Hood like it was Lock, Stock, or Snatch or something like that. Why is that guy's name escaping me right now? Madonna's husband. I'd make it like his, and they tried that, and that failed as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. What I want is if you're gonna do an adaptation that's not like perfect to the source material, you have to make me go, oh, that's clever. Like at the Easter eggs that you've laid throughout, like how your Thor might be in the post-apocalypse, but his motorbike looks like a hammer or something. I don't know. Like I just made that up on the spot. But you know what I mean? Like,
Like it's like oftentimes adaptations that want to go in a different route have to have some kind of a gimmick, a visible one that will either land, help a general audience be able to latch onto, or go for a known niche that will actually be appealed to. Like we were talking about, like the King Arthur thing, and just like the writer that we collaborated with a lot, Colin Bunn, has actually done a King Arthur book with Cthulhu, and like
Kind of.
there's
not exactly.
Eldritch, whatever, Eldritch thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like that's something that a lot of people have latched onto. There's clearly a big audience specifically just for Cthulhu or Eldritch stuff.
It's called the Unholy Grail. Very Cullen Bunn.
I like that title. That's good.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah, that's actually one of the ones that I want to go back and check out some more Colin stuff. That one and what was it, like Dead Man, or what is that one? Is the I forget. It is the one that he just got like a show on Netflix, like a movie on Netflix for.
Oh shoot, I don't remember.
I forget the name of it, but like the cover looks so cool. But yeah. So yeah, on adaptations and those forms, like, yeah, I guess that's for me. The problem is just like it feels like it's such a wide margin of different things that you can really approach it, because like you can completely oppose what the original was doing. You can go for a whole other thing and just repurpose it with a new gimmick, and that can be interesting. And so, yeah, when we talk about like bad adaptations, it's kind of like how you were talking about, Mark. Like these gimmicky ones need something to latch onto. I feel like a bad adaptation is something that wants to promote itself as something new, but doesn't bring something new to the table, which is a big issue, because it just becomes the word is not monotone. What do you call that?
Well, it's kind of just pointless. It just makes you wonder why you did it in the first place. It almost, I feel like I've seen it enough, especially with like King Arthur stuff. I feel like it's a great example, because it's just like slap the name on it and you'll get eyeballs on it. It's like, are you doing this just for the attention? You know, or you just piggyback off of like the fanfare of mythology that everybody knows.
Yeah, I think bringing up Fate is a really good example, because really you can change things around, but there should be like a story relevant reason for like, why is King Arthur a woman? How does it actually change the story? But if it doesn't, it seemed to just be for like shock value. It's like putting blood and gore in your story just for shock value instead of it actually playing into like having a point.
Yeah,
it's not
the thing I linked in the private chat.
Okay.
What happened in the private chat?
I don't know. He posted a link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the link. Thank you. Oh no, it's yes, a lot of popular animes from Eroge. Cool.
Is that
Thank you.
Games? Is that
Yeah, erotic games.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was what
You
Fate
get
was.
to bang King Arthur.
Yay!
That was really funny.
Yeah. Okay, Chad. I have been known for being a little clueless about a lot of media, because I did grow up somewhere else. I do know King Arthur. I do know Robin Hood. I finally have watched the original Star Wars trilogy now, so I'm not that clueless. I'll have you know I watch a lot of Star Trek.
Oh yeah, Camelot 3000. All of the knights were reincarnated as different people, and Galahad was reincarnated as a Japanese man who was, for some reason, compelled to be very stereotypically Japanese.
No.
Wait, where? What?
No, he was not stereotypically Japanese. He was modern day, because this was in the future. Randomly, the soul of Galahad gets reincarnated into an old school samurai.
Was he really old school?
Old school samurai. He was wearing a tatami samurai armor. He has the big mustache. He was a samurai.
He drinks sake
the funny thing is just he's randomly a samurai, even though the premise is that we're in modern day.
That makes sense. People walk around like that. Yeah, that's cool.
It was not even like he's not stereotypically Japanese. He's just a samurai. That's very racist there.
Maybe human. Actually, the media that you consume here is not, especially like in Asia nowadays. It's a lot more like global. Media is a lot more global. But when I grew up in like the 90s and early 2000s, honestly, I got so little American media. I didn't even know that Spider-Man was still running as a comic. That's how, like, I got a lot of manga and anime, so I know a shit ton of manga and anime. But dude, like different parts of the world, we grow up with different things.
What? It's an interesting question. Like, do you know much about Hinduism? Like, in that it's like you're way closer in origin to the religion than Americans or Europeans are. You know what I mean, geographically. Like, for example, there's loads of things I've noticed now since I've been doing my research. So there's this one Hindu god, Garuda, who's like the steed of Vishnu. He's like a flying eagle God man.
Mhm.
And that's where what Garuda Airlines are named after. Like they're just never put together before, because I think those things are like, I think Hinduism is more baked into like the Asian culture, like maybe subconsciously, in the same way that there's so much like Christianity in the West in places that you didn't notice like until you digged like.
Yes, yeah, because I grew up somewhere where very few people were Christian or Judeo-Christian at all. So my family's Buddhist actually. So I grew up Buddhist. My dad's agnostic. My mom's side of his family is Buddhist. So I grew up going to Buddhist temples, and I'm not super into religion, so I can't tell you about like all the teachings, but I get the general philosophy and I know the gods. And it's like in Taiwan, I grew up with like a mix of Buddhism and then the local animistic religions. So like, the earth god, and then like Confucius is also a god. People pray to him, or he's like a saint, not a god, but people pray to him before exams and stuff. And there was a Confucius temple down the street from me because I grew up our house was next to a university. So, and like, I knew very little about Christianity stuff until much later. And it's like once I start learning about it, it's like, oh wow, it's so saturated. There's so many hints about that in the media. I've been watching like Disney movies and all this stuff, but and it's like, oh, Star Wars is just like it's like Jesus' story, but I didn't know that.
I actually
Well, there's an argument to be made that all like religious messiah stories are the same story recycled. Even Superman is a baby in a basket floating down a river. Like ultimately,
yeah, I can see that. There's a lot of that in Western storytelling.
One of the
I
things.
lost what was it? Because like I know that you connected it over to Irene, but like I actually completely lost. What were you talking about? Garudas? What were you even saying about them?
I was using an example of there's I think he said an Egyptian god. Then there's a Hindu god, Garuda, who is an eagle man. He's got giant wings and that, and Vishnu flies on his back. Then there is an airline out of Southeast Asia, I want to say from Malaysia or somewhere, that's called Garuda Airlines. Like, and it's got a picture of him on the side, like they've got like a bird logo, like, and it's an example of how Hinduism is baked into Asian culture in the same way that Christianity is here, but that if you're not looking for it, you're not gonna see it. Which was gonna lead me on to this other thing. We do this thing in the West all the time, where we give the heroes the initials JC, for.
Is that a thing?
Just Jesus Christ. Oh, mate, there are so many.
Oh my gosh.
John Carter's one as well.
I didn't even realize that.
John Connor, yeah, he's another save. Any savior character, they keep doing this.
Oh no, I can't unsee it now.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah. It's really culture. It's just like how I'm into languages, and when you learn a language, it's not just learning the same, how to say the same sounds, it's different set of sounds. You're learning culture. You're learning a new way of seeing the world. Something I just realized is, how in English speaking culture or in the West in general, when you're exasperated and you'll say, blasphemize, you'll say like Jesus Christ. But in Taiwan and Chinese, or, we say Amitofo, which is Buddha. And that's what we say when someone's like, we're exasperated. Like if I just can't get this freaking file to save, right, I just feel like Amitofa.
Wow, that's funny. I actually didn't expect that.
So yeah,
in Chinese, I like the fact. So the character. I'm trying to explain Chinese to Irene. What?
No, go ahead.
There is a thing like that. If you put the symbol for women 3 times, like that means an argument. It shows you parts of Chinese culture baked into the language. Interesting.
It's I don't want to go on for another 5 hours if you get me started about the language, but Chinese language is very interesting. It's so there's this whole languages are divided into synthetic or I forgot the other term, but synthetic. Basically, it's about how many particles a language breaks down into, or so like Western or like most Indo-European descendant languages are highly I think they're highly synthetic. So basically it means like the words themselves, it's I can say like dog or bark, and it's like that word, that words are more malleable. But in Chinese, like the characters, you write it one way and that's the meaning. Like Chinese is a very unmalleable language. So I'm not explaining it very well, but you look it up, like the language, classification, there's a gradient about how synthetic a language is. But what people don't get, my point is Chinese is very writing based. It's more based on writing than on the spoken language. And that's why in like I tell my friends a lot that so there are a lot of dialect, like spoken dialects all across like the Sinosphere. Sinosphere is like the Chinese speaking world. So I won't be able to understand someone from, bumfuck nowhere in China, like somewhere that's not one of the major cities, because their accent is so different, their local dialect is so different. If I don't understand what people in Hong Kong are saying because they speak Cantonese, but if they write out what they say, then I can totally understand what they mean. Like maybe the word orders are different, maybe like the slang is different, but the writing, even if we like read it completely differently, pronounce things differently, the letter itself means the meaning is the same. So Chinese is a writing based language. That's why Japanese, even before I started studying Japanese, when I go to Japan, I could get around because kanji is derived from Chinese and is basically the same. It's just Chinese characters, but they'll read something totally different. Like I don't know, like for example, Dongjing is Tokyo. In Japanese, it's Tokyo, but in Chinese, the same characters are at Dongjing, and Kyoto. The same kanji character in Chinese is Jingdu. Sounds nothing similar, but like I get the meaning of it, and it's anyways, it's a totally different way of thinking about things. And you're right that sometimes when you look at how a character is written, you break down the particles of it and you can guess what it means. Even if I don't know how to read a character, I can look at, this particle on the left side, it's the particle for God, and a particle on the left side is that's bird. So maybe this is talking about a bird god entity, and I don't know how to read it, but I understand the meaning of the character.
Yeah. So I think that is also true in Latin-based languages, but like it just looks different from how you describe it in Chinese. So so in like English, Spanish, French, Italian, Romanian, like these are all based on Latin languages and we have enough words that overlap in fragments between those languages that I feel like that I can basically read like any of them. And like if you talk to me, I don't know what you're saying, but like if I can break down sentences, like so for example, in English, so in French, the word for death is mort, and it like M-O-R-T, and then in Spanish they would say like muerte, which is like M-E-U-R-T-E, and then in I think Romanian says mort as well. And there's like all these different variations of the same basic word in it. And then in English, we don't say that, but we have words like a mortician, who's someone who like looks after dead people, or a mortgage is like a contract that you sign until you die.
It's death contract, mortgage.
Mortgage. So I think that if you know enough of like these word fragments from, if you're fluent in English and know half another language, like I say, you can read all the Latin languages the same, and if you know like what little chunks mean, like if you know that hydro means water in Latin, like you know that when you see this big long word that starts with hydro, it means watery something, and it like can break it down.
Yeah. Billy Jacobs is right. English is basically a Germanic language that has been very, very fucked by Romance languages. That's what English is. So it's a giant monster baby, a bunch of different things.
English is the ultimate colonizer language. Like, you got a word that we haven't got, we'll take it. Like the words like chocolate, tomato, potato. Those are all Aztec words, and we have words in English that we use that come from the basically extinct Aztecs. Like the word bungalow is an Indian word. Like or juggernaut. You know juggernaut? That's an Indian word.
Oh, I didn't know
Like,
that.
yeah,
Cool.
you got a word we ain't got, we'll take it. Like
Yeah, but that makes it so adaptable. And I think I found the definition. So what I was talking about before was synthetic versus analytic languages. And here's the definition on Google. Synthetic languages combine multiple concepts into each word. So, for example, I've been learning Spanish, and the word for birthday is cumpleaños. And I realized that basically it's saying complete year. So, feliz cumpleaños, happy complete year. And so and German is a great example of this, because every word is like a compound word of multiple things, versus analytic languages. I'm sorry, this has become a linguistics lesson, guys, but analytic languages break up concept into separate words. And what I was saying is people think Chinese is analytic, but it's actually not. You have to understand what the particles within each character mean. Okay, end of story. I'm done. Aren't you guys glad you came for
I think it's
linguistics?
fascinating.
I love this stuff, but I was like, I don't want to nerd out too much about it. But Lingo's goes a melting pot language. Yeah, English is a very malleable language. It absorbs a lot of different loan words, tons of it. But with a language like Chinese, it's hard to absorb loan words. Chinese has very few loan words from anywhere else. It's weird. Billy J goes, the evolution language is so interesting. Yep. There was never a person born speaking Spanish. What does that mean?
Oh, I think what he means is from Latin, as Latin transitioned into Spanish. It's not like they had Latin parents and then their children spoke Spanish. I think that's what you mean. I've heard that explained before.
You can find.
I assumed.
Period. It's always evolving.
That's true.
I assumed that he was saying that everybody starts with no language in it, and that we learn from a potentially blank slate. Although, have you seen those things about they can play like baby cries from different countries, and you can hear the accents, like, and they're not even talking words, like, but even babies have like accents in their crying.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Eric, thank you so much. Actually, nobody left, but thank you. No, they wouldn't. I think you can find videos on YouTube of like all the European languages evolving from Proto-Indo-European, which is very interesting. I love hearing that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to go on about it more, but look that stuff up on YouTube if you want to nerd out like me. Yvonne says you can't take the Enya? Nya. Enya. Nya. Nya. I can say it. Nya. I can roll my tongue too. Brrr. See? I'm halfway there. Okay. All right. I don't know how we got to talk about languages, but anyhow, something about culture and stuff. But I find this stuff very interesting. Thank you for indulging me, Mark. So we are coming up on about 2 hours, 40 minutes. I think we should, it's about time to wrap things up. But is there anything else you want people to know about this project? Do you have like another website up? When is it launching?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's a good question. So I am currently 25.5% of the way through fulfilling Not Dead Evelyn, like, which is my current book. Came out in January. Like, I'm finally fulfilling it now. And once that's all out of the door and out of my hair for a while, like, then we'll move forward with Operation Krishna Kid.
So you don't have a set date yet?
I'd like to say that I'm going to launch it before November. But if it's not ready by then, I'm not going to like force it, especially over the Christmas period. There is like like a common conception that crowdfunding in December isn't like the best idea because people are tighter money wise because of Christmas. But for me, really, Christmas is like the hardest time of year for me at Mega Evil Corporation. And I'll just be too busy. So if it's not before the end of December, it'll be January.
Okay, all right. Do be careful with like how long your sign-up's been up though, because you know
This
the
is
limit.
already the second one. I learned that lesson after losing that one and not that other one.
Okay.
But I've managed to rebuild it. Like I had to go digging through my phone, like for all the CSV files and that, but downloaded. 175 people on there so far.
Awesome.
Get some more, 200,000, whatever.
Sweet. Yeah, the link is in the chat. Thank you, Blinko. Go sign up, everyone. It doesn't cost you any money to sign up, and you will be notified when the campaign launches and get to see the full presentation.
Yeah, I absolutely hate these mailing list pages because you can upload a total of like 4 images. You want to write some cool stuff about your book? Here you go. Here's 300 characters. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, with such limited space. I can't wait to get the actual campaign up. Like, where you can see all the pages and all the writing and all the explanations and all the arrows and the circles. Like, it's gonna be great.
I wish the sign up pages, were more just like a simplified campaign page. It would be so much better.
Do you know what you're gonna have for rewards and tiers and stuff yet? I think I saw someone earlier suggesting trading cards for characters.
Yeah, that's on the to-do list so far. Like I'm gonna be doing 3 like floppy books on it. I'm writing 3 floppies that also combine into one collected edition that I'd like to make hardback. I don't know if you can see it very well on the campaign, and now my keyboard don't work. If you scroll down a little, this middle picture here in the middle, like it's got all this. My dream is to have this one with the gold around it. My dream is to have like a hardback version that has UV spotting on this gold trim around the outside. So it looks like these traditional Indian paintings that they do, like where they stick actual gold like on the outside. I've got all these ideas. Like I made some really cool images where I like put some characters into like a kaleidoscope filter, and it made these beautiful like almost mandala kind of like coloring pages. Like, so probably do a coloring book as well, because it just looks sick, like with loads of stuff. Loads of stuff.
That would also be very fitting.
There we go. Pixelated, but anyways.
Say it again, hon?
I think that's also very faithful to the kind of aesthetic that you would see from other books talking about Krishna and these things, is that they go really flashy. And I'm also biased because I really like gimmicky like comic book covers. So like I love metallized covers. I love holographic ones, or ones that are like kind of like weird and tilty and stuff like that. That would go really well with this. So like these like kind of the word is not psychedelic, but that's this kind of like trippy imagery, like this one where like Krishna is like over the planets and there's like a fireball or something over him. I can totally see a stoner having that as a poster on one of their walls. So that would be really cool with like those kinds of effects.
Do it more detail.
one of the things that I was aware of when I was writing it, like for me, a challenge is I want every page to work like as a little bit of a story, like in itself. I'm focused on like page turns, like I want each page, to lead you to the next. But I want it to fit. Basically, when people buy original art and they get one page, like if you put that one page up on your wall, like I want that one page to make sense, like in isolation, and it like and tell its own little story. So I'm constantly thinking like, oh, this page, I've written a poster, but it's also a page, like so I can get two for one. This picture of Brahma with all the gods around the outside, pure poster material in it, like, but also splash page. I just wanted to show you this because you might not have seen this. Like on the Best Career campaign, I made these not chromium covers, which wrapped in tin foil, like and charged double for this. Double. People like really pay for it. It's great stuff. Like all of my books are about the meta. Like there's always like all these layers like on top, like that feed into this overall thing that I'm doing. You'll see. You gotta read some.
Sumo30, how dare you? And also, yes, that chromium cover, the not chromium cover is brilliant. You handmade it with love.
Yeah.
It totally is worth double.
And I vastly underestimated how much hard work it was going to be, like to make like 25 of them that sold or whatever.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, this is your first serious campaign because you've done a lot of humor stuff, but this is something you're really passionate about and you're very inspired to do, and it's like not serious and there's no humor, but you like this is a serious story. There's a lot of character interaction, there's meaning in it for you. I love seeing people like finally being able to do a project like this, because I've come across some people in crowdfunding where they do like smaller campaigns or like joke books or like humor books just to build an audience and test out crowdfunding first, or do like art books and stuff. That's what I did. But then finally being able to get to the book you always wanted to do, that's really great.
That's exactly the path that I followed. So Best Career, like I said, is made out of photographs. Like I didn't have to like put any investment into it. Because I'm just a writer, and then the same with these public domain books. I just wrote on top on it. So I've managed to make and fulfill like 3 books now without even hiring an artist. This is the first one, like where I've been able to choose specifically who speaks in what order and stuff. Like it's great.
That's brilliant. You are brilliant, man. Whew, all right, so everyone, go sign up for KRISHNA Kid. Link in the description, of course, and let me post it one more time. Copy, paste it. Let's see.
Have I put a trailer on that page? Did I do that?
Oh yeah. I was actually thinking, do you want to close out on the trailer? Do you want to play it from your side? Because then the image would be better. Do you have it, or should I?
I'd be playing it through YouTube as well.
Oh, okay. So you'd also be playing it through YouTube. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play the trailer. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Let's just play it now because. Yeah.
It's only like 20 seconds, I think.
Yeah. Okay, but I have to reshare my screen because I'm not sharing audio. All right, let's look at this trailer. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, you get to see my browser with 50 tabs open. That'll be great. Woo!
Oh my god.
Hush. Hush now. All right.
Chant the mantra, Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare, and you will feel the bliss. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare.
Oh, it's cute!
That's good.
Who made that music?
Some African band that is. It's cool, isn't it?
That's great, though. It's kind of adorable. I love
Yeah.
it. Cool. All right, links in the chat. Back. Krishna Kid now, everybody. No. And of course, for the millionth time. Oh wait, I don't even have the campaign page. No, refresh. I redid the banner, by the way. But here you go.
Oh my god, Irene.
What? I
I'm
updated the covers. What?
You just keep redoing things.
No, I updated the cover, so I had to
Yeah, but
change
this
the
time it
banner to
worked.
match.
Okay.
You don't understand. Okay, don't discriminate against OCD people. So, anyhow, in case you missed it, last week I've updated both the website and the campaign page. I haven't updated the color. I'm gonna put the colors on the preview after like I fulfill the books because I want the people to see who backed the book to get to see the colors first. But I did update the cover. Here's the new cover. I'm very proud of this. This is going to print. I'm not changing it anymore. I'm done. I'm actually like sick of looking at it. I'm very happy with it at this point. So that is the color cover. I know you guys don't believe me, but
You finally got to the same stage that we've been at for a while.
yeah, wouldn't you know? Too bad you
She'll
saw.
change her mind in like a couple of weeks.
Okay, all right, sure,
She
Ariel.
doesn't even deny it. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah, are you in my head? Do you know my thoughts?
I think
Anyways.
at this point.
Anyways, I was saying
I am
that
very unpredictable.
I added music. Anyways, I added music to the comic. So I found like a bunch of music that really fit the comic. I've been wanting to do this for the longest time. Like ideally, I want to commission someone to make music for the comic and just have a soundtrack that someone can play with it. I don't know. I really like music, but I can't make it. I suck at making music. But if you go to the preview page on the website, there's like a musical accompaniment at the top of the preview section. So you can click on that and check it out. I also have some new sections. I have the species page, but I'm actually going to I hired a concept artist to paint art for like the Pantheon and the species pages. So I'll have like new art on here in a while, and that's going to be in the world building book. But more importantly, Back Fiendish, the book. I've also updated the campaign page. So here are some of the colors are on the focus pages.
Yeah, and
There you
Sumo Tori, you're talking about having asked to not get the black and white version yet until the cuts. Working on it, man. I'm trying to get it to you guys soon. sorry
You can do it.
Sorry for everybody who has actually made that same decision as him. I'm trying to get there.
You're pretty far in it, and it's looking really nice.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Maybe next. I finished the extra pages at the end, which I remade them to be particularly flashy. So maybe next stream I can bring some previews of those. So just to show some people and stuff.
Oh, that'll be cool. Yeah. I mean, the colors are looking great, and I think, of course, it's also my bad for I didn't plan for it to be in color, and I don't know how to estimate for how long a colorist really needs. But this is all stuff that we'll fix for chapter 2. And again, I'm going to be open, of course. I think we're about Nick's making good progress. He's at like over 30 pages.
I'm done with 30 pages. I'm working on the last 15, and
cool.
Again, those are the easiest ones. I want to emphasize. I'm getting through them. Sorry for everybody that is waiting for it.
Yeah. But thank you everyone for your patience. But this is all. The result will be an awesome book. Nick's colors look really good, and yeah, we'll show. It'll be great to bring up some of those new colors next stream and show everybody. I would love to see them as well. So, yay! Billy Jacobs, thank you. Yes, it does look great. I like how the colors are coming out as well. So, but if you want to see just a sneak peek of that, I have I have the covers finally on the campaign page, and I have some more of the color pages on here as well. So yeah, and we are over 700 backers. Thank you guys so much. I still can't believe it. Oh yeah, that's really, really awesome. Thank you. I'm hoping to launch. I don't know when I'll launch chapter 2. I might have to sign up in maybe a couple of months. I want to launch a sign up right after I fulfill chapter 1, but the campaign will take a little longer. But I am working on chapter 2 as well, so expect to sign up for that like before the end of the year. But again, I'm not going to run a campaign right around Christmas. So anyways, chapter 2 is being worked on. Chapter 1, I'm fulfilling the grayscale books right now. So if you want the book absolutely right now, order the grayscale. That is the smoke tier on the website, and I'll literally ship it the next day. So yeah, that is all.
Looking at Mark with the hairy jacket, all that he's really missing to fit his brand is just to get that one of those like kind of tube like hairy hats with the. You guys know
like the Russian hats.
I think so. They're kind of like cylindrical and kind of short but hairy.
Like fur.
Oh, I know the ones you mean. I don't have one of those yet. Like I do have like your Ushanka hats with the like bits. I got this hat here handy.
Like a
Like,
babushka.
That's great.
Okay.
Oh, that's the full getup right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a whole fucking wardrobe of the stuff now.
That's dedication. That's amazing, sir. Very fashionable. I like it.
Gosh, that reminds me of when we went to Germany for vacations and stuff, and like there were people just selling like Nazi memorabilia and gas masks like on the way. I was like, man, I kind of want one of those gas masks. That's so cool.
Oh, that's special. That's something special. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you dressed up for the stream, Mark. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming on and having this lovely conversation about your book and adapting stories and stuff. I thought this was a lot of fun, and I really hope KRISHNA Kid does well.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get it. Alrighty, let's yeah.
Thank you.
I talk too fast. All right, that's a constant problem. Or I talk over people.
Before we send off, Mark, by the way, since you mentioned that one of the inspirations that you have with KRISHNA Kid is Super Sentai and stuff, I forget which one it is, but I believe it was one of Dream. When you go to like watch a animated movie, and at the beginning they have those shorts. I believe it was DreamWorks. I think so. That I remember seeing that it was an Indian kid watching TV where they actually have like Krishna, the monkey god, and some other. And a female goddess, and he actually reinterprets them as Sentai heroes as he goes like a little adventure.
Yeah, Chad, do you know what that short is, or like what movie it preceded?
It made me really think about that. So
yeah, I forgot about that one.
Seemed fitting, and they're also very chibi, kind of like how you're drawing Krishna in there.
Yeah, I want to see that then.
Yeah, I have no idea. Now you have to find it.
Look up some keywords or something, and you might find it.
Yeah, you have to find it and share with everybody. Yeah. But
yeah.
Yeah. But yes, lovely stream. Thank you all so much. Where can people find you, Mark?
Just type in CommieMark to anywhere.
Yeah. I think you probably are the only CommieMark on every platform.
The E in Commie is a 3 in it. If you type that in to any website,
that makes it even easier. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you also have a YouTube channel, so search CommieMark on YouTube.
Search for CommieMark and you'll find it. Yeah. For some reason, when you get your custom URL, won't give me one. Oh, but you need 100 subscribers. That's cool. I've got 1.4 thousand subscribers. Can I have one now? No. Don't know why. But yeah.
That's weird. Well, YouTube does weird shit like that all the time. All right, the channel is in the chat right now. Everybody go subscribe to him. Yeah. Well, all right. Thank you. Yes. Go subscribe. And AC and Nick.
There is. Sorry to interject for a moment. There's a great interview with Irene on my channel. Like, if you're interested in learning more about Irene's history working for the comic industrial complex, how she was exploited as part of the labor force, like, go and check that out over there. Yes, it was a great interview. Yeah, very revealing. Everyone go look it up. All right.
When you say it like that, now I'm curious.
No, the beginning was it was special. It was special, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. You're right. I was.
That reminds me. My outfit for my anime girl stream came today, and it like I know I'll show you a snippet off there. Like I'm saving it for genuine reactions, but we'll be doing that like next week maybe. You should come down, help me come up with
There
something.
you go.
Yeah.
Have a reason to subscribe. Look at all these mystery boxes that are being drawn out.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I would
Interesting
love
channel.
to. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's great.
Okay, so you can find me. You can search for me on Instagram and Twitter under AC Zamudio.
Oh yeah, and for me, Ink Imp on Instagram and Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I don't show up on Twitter at all.
I'm on Twitter. No, I'm not.
No, I'm there. I forget that it exists. Don't expect a response on Twitter. But it's easy to get me at inkimpcontact@gmail.com.
There you go. Yeah, Ink. Just search Ink Imp and look for the something with monsters, and that'll be Nick.
Yeah,
There you go.
It's a orange picture with a hairy guy with horns.
Yeah, it's every profile. That's him. Yeah, cool. All right, Chimera.
Yep, Chimera the Hut, Twitter, and we having leftovers of Testament on eBay pretty soon. So there you go.
Woo! All righty.
How much
yeah.
are they at?
Huh?
How much are they at?
Oh, they'll be $20.
There you go.
Cool. All right. And you can find me, of course, Rini does everywhere. Twitter, YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Hit likes really help. Kiss the algorithm. And also, I have Instagram, so follow me on Instagram as well. And I have links for all my stuff in the description. I have a Patreon as well. I don't tell people about it, but I post like behind the scenes stuff for my comic there. So if you're interested in that, you can check out my Patreon. All the links are in the description. And thank you all for joining us once again for the Hellion Art Show, where we talk about comics and all kinds of other nerdy stuff, and usually anime and languages. So yeah. This is a very focused show.
It was a fun discussion this time around.
Yeah.
So we're able to jump around a lot of places.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. So
I like
join
the
us
qualifier of this time around.
this time. I know it's
This
fine.
time.
I'm used to my friends insulting me. This is just how we roll.
So,
So-
some
It's
discussions
fine.
you can enjoy, and sometimes you cannot enjoy them.
Oh, okay. Cool. So anyhow, join us next week at the same time, Wednesday, 8 p.m. EST, and I'll be back with more comics talk and another special guest and more awesome discussions. Oh, and color reveals for Fienders. So thank you guys. And I'll see you
Thanks,
around.
everybody.
Bye,
See you.
everybody. Bye. 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 Bye.